of TWitWoW Five Fave Fives. Can't believe we've done this 27 times already. That's nuts. And so, for those of you that are new, Five Fave Fives is a series that we've been doing for years at this point, going back to, I believe, 2017. Yeah, 2017 was when we started this. And basically, what we do is we let a few months go by. Every few months, we get together and we put together lists of our top 5 favorite wrestlers in a bunch of different promotions. And then we make a master list of our top 10 favorite wrestlers going at that moment in wrestling overall. And that's just what we do. So normally we would do WWE and kind of scoop NXT up into that WWE umbrella, and then have an AEW section, which would include ROH, a New Japan section, which would include New Japan Strong, and a Stardom section, and then an other section, which is just kind of for everything else, whether it be TNA, Tokyo Joshi, whatever. And then, of course, our top 10 overall master list. But because we have not been keeping up or in touch with New Japan, we have severed New Japan out of our official lists. And if we have any New Japan guys we want to include or give credit to, we will put them in other now. And we have split the WWE list into a separate main roster Raw and SmackDown WWE list and an NXT list that will now also still include NXT Level Up. So, John, how you feeling about 5v5s this time around with the new format?
I'm feeling great, man, especially because this is coming at a great time for me personally. You know that I've tried to put my best foot forward, paying attention to more pro wrestling this year because I was very checked out last year, partially on me, partially on just the state of the industry. But I've definitely been watching a lot more NXT. Hell, I've even been watching TNA. I went back and I watched the January 25th episode today while I was putting this list together. So I'm still paying attention to TNA even. I haven't given up after just 1 week. So I'm very impressed with my own face, as if I couldn't be impressed enough. And yeah, I'm very excited for this new format because I think this is going to be one of the most interesting lists that you and I both have kind of put together in some time. So I'm stoked for this, man. I can't wait to dive into this.
Yeah, I've definitely got some surprises in my lists. One of my stalwarts has been unseated.
Ooh, I already am getting ideas, but I don't want to jump the gun.
Okay.
It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun
Most of
fucking
my
time.
stalwarts are still there, and one of them has been unseated, but they're still. It's not like they fell far. The one that's been unseated is still just at number two,
Yes.
on their respective list. But they have fallen out of the top like three of my master list. Anyway, so do we just want to get right into this and not talk too much more?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Awesome.
We
Let's
begin
do
with
it.
main roster WWE. Do you want to get the
Yes.
ball rolling, or should I? I feel like I got the ball rolling last time, so I'd like you
Yeah,
to do the honors
sure.
this
I'll
time.
start. Yeah, my honorable mentions. And again, for those of you that haven't been here before, we treat our honorable mentions basically like we're filling out the rest of a top 10. We're just giving less details on why they're there. Because with our top five, we like to really kind of dive in deep and talk about why we love them, what they're doing that we love, that kind of stuff. Whereas with the 6 through 10, it's just kind of like we're acknowledging them, giving them credit, and being like, yeah, they're there, and we're ranking them, but we're not going to dive deep into it. So number 10 for me would be AJ Styles.
Yes.
Number 9, Sami Zayn.
Awesome.
Number 8, already, Andrade.
Ooh, I like that. I like
Number
that.
7, even more already, Braun Breaker.
Love it.
Number 6, Gunther.
Nice. Okay. I just want to make a note just because of one of your honorable mentions. Uh, because for the majority of this grading period he was on NXT, I treated Braun Breaker more as an NXT entity right now until he's officially signed with SmackDown or wherever he's gonna go.
I put him in
Um,
both.
you know what? That's fine. I just wanted to let you know
I
kind of how I
appreciate it
handled
though.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put him in my main roster honorable mentions because of how fucking excited I am for how much like of a pop he got out of both of us in his Rumble appearance. He was so good.
And believe me, that Rumble where he ranks, like the Rumble appearance was a big part of that. But I did just consign him to NXT because, again, for the majority of this grading period, it was
Yes.
NXT, so it
Yeah.
seemed only fair.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to explain myself just in case you were confused or anybody was confused.
Yep.
Anyway, main roster honorable mentions for me, going again, number number 10, Sami Zayn, 9, Jade Cargill, 8, Ludwig Kaiser, 7, Liv Morgan, 6, Bailey.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I legitimately thought about putting both Liv Morgan and Jade Cargill in my lists. So they definitely would have rounded out my top 15 had I kept going.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you, just to comment on Jade very quickly, because Liv, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, fucking Liv. But
Yeah.
Jade made a huge impression on me. I think, not to piss unnecessarily on AEW, because God knows I do that enough on our series weekend review when we talk about it. But she made more of an impression on me in a Rumble appearance than she did in the majority of her AEW career. I'm like, oh my God, like, she's fucking here.
Yep.
So, yeah, I guarantee you she'll probably make the main list before too long. She's incredible. So, anyway, friend, now you can really get the ball rolling for us. Who comes in at number 5 of your main roster list?
Chelsea Green.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great pick.
Dude, I've loved the work that she's been doing just regularly, but that Rumble performance put it over the top for me. I had to give her props and put her on my list, man. She's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I love that. That might be honestly, for the entire time we've done this fucking series, that might be one of my favorite picks I've ever seen you make. Like that was that's really cool, man. Um
She's just awesome. I hope that she wins a singles title at some point. I have my doubts as to whether she will or not, but like her and Indy Hartwell to me are like the two, like, please WWE, please see what I see in them and decide to put a singles title on them eventually at some point within the next like 3 to 5 years, please.
I just I love that WWE just gets the real value, and I've been saying this for years. The real value in Chelsea Green is she is always so committed to every character she plays. And that's why I'm excited because this character can't last forever in her WWE tenure.
Yep.
Sooner or later, there's going to have to be an evolution or something. And I'm so excited what that's going to be. But she's been knocking it out of the park with us. I mean, people are still talking about her Rumble performance. Like, that's how much of a standout she was. And I'll say for me, even though she didn't make any of my list, which I'm starting to feel a bit criminal about, honestly, which is why I'm grateful to you for the catch. I put her just Rumble performance in my honorable mention for funniest moment of the year because everything she did got it. I think
Do
got
you
to
have
pop out of me.
her
I got to pop
on
in here.
your list, like on your awards list? Do you have her filled in?
Yeah, for funniest moment of the year, I have her in like the discussion for it for her
Good,
Rumble
good, good.
performance. I mean,
Nice.
yeah, she's fantastic. So I'm really glad you had her on your like actual Fave 5 list. For me, number 5, Drew McIntyre.
Ah, nice.
I've still been loving him, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I prefer him as a babyface. Everything we've said about him and about the company and everything, it's still valid. But when he when he told Punk to his face, I prayed for you to get injured. I don't know. Now again, I definitely I use fiction as an outlet for my worst impulses. I realize this. I think a therapist would be fascinated by it. I have never loved a piece of shit more in my life. I am like to tell a man, I prayed for you to have your life ruined. I cannot tell you how deeply I respected that. I'm like, that kind of honesty is so fucking refreshing. I've already told you, look, if I would get a second chance at life with no consequences, I would be a piece of shit. But the kind of piece of shit that's not like murdering or whatever, but the kind of piece of shit that if I bump shoulders with you when walking, I'm gonna give you the wrong 100%, and I'm gonna be like, hey, yeah, fuck you, and instigate for no reason. That's Drew McIntyre. He's instigating for no reason.
And of course, he's
Everybody's
6'7", 270. So if you bump shoulders with him and he goes, "Hey, fuck you," you're gonna be like, "Oh well, yeah, that was my bad. I'm sorry, sir."
Yeah, I love that he's so imposing, which automatically makes him in the right because that's literally the definition of fucking power. God, he's so deliciously fucking toxic. Jesus.
Do you know how
Uh,
much I agree with you, John?
how much?
He's my number 4.
I knew you couldn't resist him for long. Yes.
Yup. We're
Yes.
just moving right along. Chelsea was my 5. Drew was my 4. I fucking love the way that this man has been working lately. Honestly, like, he was great in the Rumble, but that promo last night put it over the top for me. Like, and the memes that have been coming out of it too have been just absolute gold. It's been so good. Like, he even posted one of himself as the actor that plays Barry Allen in the CW Flash posing over a grave, and it says CM Punk's WrestleMania main event 2024 to 2024 on the gravestone. It's amazing. So good. He's amazing. Oh, and then there's another one that I found last night that I actually posted on our Discord where it's a picture of CM Punk crying and it says someone's downfall happening. And then it's a picture of Drew next to it saying, me watching because I prayed for it.
This heel energy that he's got where he feels like he's the victim and he feels like he's in the right about things. It makes me so curious what his world title reign would look like, because his whole thing is I should be world champion. I keep getting screwed, this and that. Well, what do you do when you have it? Right? Like how do you kind of twist that? This is
Dude,
the
it would
best
be
heel work
amazing
he's
if
done.
he ever actually wins the world title again, which I at this point honestly have my doubts.
Yeah.
If he still has this character by the time he wins it, it would be amazing if his character went from outward dickhead to like delusional Bo Dallas style heel who tries to be like a good guy and a role model, but like we don't forget how much of a piece of shit you were until you got that title. We're not just letting it go.
Yes. Oh god, dude. I love him. Like Sammy, in my mind, I want him to be the world heavyweight champion so bad. Him or Jey Uso. But man, if Drew was to be a line cutter and be like, oh no, it's coming home with daddy, I'd be like, yeah, it is. So, I I don't know what to tell you. But you said Drew was your number 4, so I should give my number 4 then, right?
Absolutely.
Um, Number 4, this might surprise some people that they're this low and that I even put them together. Kabuki Warriors.
Oh, okay. I am surprised.
Yeah, I love Kairi. I think I'll always be endeared to Kairi, but she's kind of been in a weird place. I think, in Stardom, she ranked a bit higher for me because she was able to do singles and she was more prominent. Here, they just put her right back with Asuka. I'm not one of those fans that's like, oh, she shouldn't be losing or give her this or give her that. I think it's a good place for her. I just think there are a lot more interesting things happening around her right now. And Asuka's a freaking legend, dude. I mean, she could honestly retire tomorrow and her Hall of Fame induction would be set. I mean, I can't remember the last time that a woman who never even really calls herself a pillar, a backbone, a foundation, whatever the hell, just is that,
Isn't it
just by
amazing
being so good.
how the true legends never refer to themselves as that?
Exactly. Exactly. And Kana Asuka has just been so humble and has always done what's asked of her, and she always does it so freaking well. I hope when she does retire, people never forget how much she meant to WWE at a very critical time when they were trying to rehabilitate their image as it relates to women's wrestling. Because I think she was such a core part of that. You have all these women being like, oh, I was revolutionary and that. Asuka was quietly doing the fucking work and she was doing it better than anybody. And you put these two together and you've got one hell of a tag team. I love the double team, like almost inverted DDT, insane elbow combo they got going on. That's a great tag finish. I could see their reign going a long time under the new damage control, with EO, and Bailey inevitably gets excommunicated. And they left her so fast in that ring with
Do you
Nia. I
think
watched
that
that super.
post Bailey they'll change the name of the faction from Damage Control to something else?
Bro, I've wondered that, and I've even wondered too if it would be something like Queen's Quest-esque without
Yeah,
obviously being Queen's Quest,
right.
for obvious reasons. But
I
yeah,
mean, they
I
can't
I've
call it
thought about the two.
Royal Quest. New Japan's already got that pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh man. So who is number 3 on your list, bro?
Number 3 on my list is not a person, but a faction. But we all know who the faction's really about, and
I
that
did
is
the thing.
Daddy Legado del Fantasma.
Oh my god. uh,
Your reaction was just so precious.
Santos is just so precious. Fuck. Talk about it.
What did you call him?
I was saying Santos specifically. I know you said
No,
like
I just
Legado
have
as
to
a whole.
correct you though because clearly it's Santos
Oh
Escobar.
God, you've brought credibility back to breathing, and we all do it to live anyway. It's
I feel like
ridiculous.
Fandango put in a little work towards that. He helped.
But it's been so long
You gotta
though.
breathe in the A's.
All right, man. Talk about Legado though.
I mean, they've been on fucking fire. I feel like, man, they're doing so good. They've been winning for once. Jesus Christ, it's amazing. Santos, I think, is like 2 or 3-0 against Carlito at this point. The faction is actually beating the LWO at like every turn. Now they've got Elektra Lopez, who would have probably made my NXT list if she didn't just join LDF on the main roster. Like, yeah, this is great. I love the way that they're moving right now. They're great wrestlers. They're winning. Elektra's part of the group now, and she's really starting to win me over, especially on the mic. The way she cut down Lola Vice, goddamn. Yeah, everything's going. Everything's turning up. Legado, baby.
I love it because my number 3 was actually just Santos. I didn't think to do like LDF as a faction. I should have,
Oh,
but
dude, I
like,
take full advantage of the fact that we're allowed to use factions in these slots because literally, like, my number 1 in both WWE and AEW are both factions. My number 2 in NXT is a faction. Like, I take from number 5 in NXT. Like, I take full advantage of this shit.
yeah. I'll do tag teams because there are 2 tag teams just to give a little tease in my other list, but we'll get to that much later in the
I don't do
commentary.
like huge factions, like Stardom or New Japan sized factions. But if it's like 3 or 4
Yeah.
people, yeah, you can bet your ass I'm grouping them in.
Ashton's like, oh no, it's a cluster.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly, if it wasn't Santos for you, I was gonna ask you to intro it for me with the deep breathing, but you already did, and it was impeccable because of course it was.
Santos.
Oh fuck. So, Calvin Klein. So Santos. Okay. I could usually say all the usual stuff, but instead I'm gonna be more of a dick about it. Hey, LWO, I was picking Carlito working out for you. I can't believe they chose Carlito over Santos. And like, I don't know. I guess they're getting a lot of protein because they're laying a lot of goose eggs with him around. Um, he's amazing. I fucking love him. I loved his match with KO in the US title tournament. And I will say this, bro, and this will be the one really big serious point that I'll make. I have no delusions of Santos. Oh, by the way, LWO, I'm also laughing at you because Andrade's on Raw, so that could have been the ace in the hole for you. And he was like, "Nah, just tell Zelina I said hi." What a fucking king. But no, I don't have any delusions about Santos being WWE champion. What's funny is if this LDF was on Raw, I actually would be kind of side-eyeing the prospect of him being world heavyweight champion. I wouldn't scoff at that. But I think the current brand he's on in the current landscape, it's a pipe dream. However, I do think the US title is still viable. And if KO wins it, I would really like a proper KO Santos feud for the US title. I think those two can make magic together. I mean, Kevin Owens put on a great match with Logan Paul with a fractured fucking foot. I mean, this dude, he's incredible. And I think with somebody like Santos as a foil, could be some great mid card magic for that title. I agree with you about the faction as a whole, which is why I'm glad you kind of used the cluster rule to give credit to the whole faction. I mean, everybody is looking so good, and I really didn't expect WWE to do so right by them. You know, I really fear that this is going to be one of those things where maybe he gets 1 or 2 wins, but by this point where we're at, that they would have fizzled out and been forgotten about. But no, like Santos really does seem like he's building something, and that's why I'm even thinking about the U.S. title, hopefully in the future, because in a way it would be poetic. It all started over the U.S. title when he lost out on his match against Theory and Ray took his place. I do feel like Santos inevitably should get that championship just to kind of bring his arc full circle in a way. But yeah, I think he's one of the best kept secrets on SmackDown, even though, again, he's been more visible than I expected. And he's just a real fucking gem. I love him. So who's next on your list?
Number 2 on my list is, well, I mean, I feel like we did this last time too, actually, didn't we? Yeah, it was the other way around though. Last time we went mommy then daddy. This time we're going daddy then mommy. Rhea is number 2 for me.
Interesting. I like it though.
I've just really, really appreciated the work that she's been putting in over the last couple months, in the ring, on the mic, the backstage stuff. I don't agree with her decisions, but that is not something that the performer decides. That is something that the creative decisions are making. But from a performer's perspective, Rhea has just been incredible. She's been excellent. And yeah, it's one of those things where when Legado del Fantasma is on my TV, I do get excited. But when Rhea Ripley is on my TV, it's a notch above that,
Oh, bro, you and everybody else. I think it's been amazing how over Rhea has gotten with the crowd just by being herself, being in this Judgment Day gimmick. If Judgment Day ever fractures, good luck making this woman a heel. Like, I think it would be smart. I'm telling you, I think the play is if they ever split up, she goes full baby face, still kind of keeping that edge to her, of course, but I would have her hit fucking Riptide on Dom to a huge fucking pop. And it's perfect for the Dom character because he's always been like a fucking jellyfish. So it's not like, oh, you're burying Dom. No, this is perfectly in line with his character. Because I just think, yeah, like there's no slowing this woman down. And I think her versus Becky at Mania, which I'm still 100% convinced is the match they're going with, is gonna blow the fucking roof off, dude. Like we could really have one of the best like women's sides of Mania that we've ever had because Bailey Io and Becky Rhea. I mean, I'm there for both matches at that point.
Not to mention
And Rhea,
potentially a Kabuki Warriors tag title defense, maybe.
and potentially, if we're talking about potential, bro, potentially Bianca versus Jade. I've been hearing stuff that could happen. I mean, women's wrestling could
Can
eat
you
at
imagine if
WrestleMania this year.
instead of those two facing each other, they teamed up to challenge for the tag titles against the Kabuki Warriors?
And that would also be insane. Absolutely, dude. Like women's wrestling could eat this year at WrestleMania, especially, and again, not to be a douche, but I'm just calling it as I see it, especially without Charlotte in the picture. Oh my
Dude,
God.
right? I know. That's why I keep saying Andrade needs to poke some holes in
Yeah,
some condoms this summer.
absolutely. Number two for me, the Ring General Gunther.
Gunta.
Um, I what more is there to say? I mean, God, like he had an amazing performance again in the Rumble. I hate that Cody Rhodes eliminated him again for the second year in a row. Fucking Cody Rhodes.
Fucking
He-
ass.
I I'll tell you, Triple H. I was even talking about this with a friend of mine recently. Triple H and him kind of bringing back and really having a strong affinity for long title reigns. At times, it could be tedious. To me, like it's believable with Roman Reigns. I've loved Roman's reigns, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm dissing him. But just from a pure physicality standpoint, it has never been more believable than with Gunther to me that this dude would be on top for as long as he's been. The way he carries himself, the way he works in the ring, everything. It's like, yeah, I could see that dude holding it for another year, for full on 2 years. He is an absolute tour de force, and all this talk of the Raw World Heavyweight title, which I do like because it shows that it is more of an open field and it is more like a possibility for your faves to get there. You put that world title on Gunther, it really will get that Roman Reigns level because I don't know who the fuck beats him for it. I don't even know who's going to beat him for the Intercontinental title. I've thought anybody from Jey Uso to now recently Braun Breaker, but whoever it is, they've got to be able to bear the weight of what he's built. And you're going to need really broad shoulders for that because Gunther's really built something immense and incredible. Love the dude. Love him every week. Like you said about Rhea, where like just command your attention. Gunther's the same way because I knew he was going to beat Kofi and I very easily could have noped out of that. He still had my full attention and he's just too legit to quit, man. Keeping my attention from bell to bell. So that's that. Who is next on your main roster list? This would be number one for you. So who's number one on your main roster
Yeah,
list?
well, this is the reason why I do the clusters. This is why I use factions because if I wasn't allowed to, I feel like Damage Control would have taken up 3 of the 5 spots in my Fave Five because Io, Bailey, and like you did, the Kabuki Warriors as a team would have been 3 of my top 5. So I just put them all together, and Damage Control is just the easiest number one I'm ever gonna do.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the best thing going on right now in WWE by a pretty long margin, in my opinion. Um, Bailey has been doing great with her character work. I think we've actually talked before about how like Bailey's facial expression work is like S tier, like absolutely incredible. Like the way that she is able to portray emotions simply through facial expressions is basically second to none. Um, Io as champion is just a fucking workhorse. Kabuki Warriors have actually won the tag titles during this rating period, so again, like huge boon for the whole faction, and they've been doing great work together as well. Kairi has been hilarious, by the way. Have you noticed? I don't know if you were the one that posted this or not, but there have been moments where uh, she'll be in the ring with someone and she'll start like shuffling around, positioning the ref between herself and her opponent.
Yeah, I did notice that last night on Raw. I didn't post a tweet about that. That was somebody else. But yeah, like
Yeah,
I love that she's kind of peppered her in ring stuff, a little bit of new stuff. She's gotten a bit cheekier
yeah,
in the ring. Good
yeah.
stuff.
And those back fists are lethal.
Yes, dude. Yes.
So yeah, I've
Uh,
been I just yeah, damn it. And even Dakota, who hasn't been able to wrestle, but I did notice there were people pointing out that the knee brace was off on Raw last night. I'm here to her. I think that that's a great character work too. I just love this faction, man. This to me, Damage Control right now is pretty damn close to as interesting as the Bloodline was early on last year.
I would agree with you, and that's why I'm tentatively curious, and I only say that because I don't know if you could let it breathe a bit more at this point. But when Bailey's like, "I'm gonna make my decision this Friday about who to challenge," and had this look on her face like, Friday? You mean SmackDown? Like, what? What is there to think about?" I don't know how it's gonna go. I saw somebody say that because Dakota's out of the brace, that she should be the first one to strike at Bailey, which I
Mark,
think would be yeah, that was Mark. Okay, kudos to Mark then. Which by the way, welcome everybody that's been in chat, mainly Alex and Mark. Um, and so, yeah, like, there's definitely been a lot of thought about this. You already know that I would love if Bailey's been secretly studying Japanese on the sly and being like, oh, so this is what you guys have been saying about me. But however they decide to handle it, it's been a great faction. I mean, it started out when they came out at SummerSlam, Bailey, Dakota, and Io. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, yes. Then a few months in, it's like, oh, they're losing. What the fuck? And now they're right back to being back on top of the world. Like, I think this is the Damage Control we all wanted. And so I don't blame you at all for having them at number one. They are utterly fantastic. Number one for me, as if it wasn't so obvious every goddamn time on the main
Kevin
roster,
Owens.
Kevin
Yep.
Owens. Um, but I'll tell you, this time I will say it's not just the usual platitudes. I mean, it is, but also just the idea. I loved his work in the Logan Paul feud. I loved his
Dude,
promo that there's not a punch you have. Yes.
I just wanted to just slide in here to say I fought off some demons this 5v5 because if we are being as objective as possible and strictly talking about whose television and entertainment we've enjoyed most, Logan Paul probably should have been on my Fave 5.
Yeah, dude, that's fine. No, I get it because he's so good at being a douche, mainly because it's not an act.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
you
that's
know,
why I left it off though, because he's not acting.
yeah. But with Kevin Owens, like I'm really starting to believe that his like fighting spirit and his grit also just isn't an act. Like this dude when he had his promo, which I really should add as honorable mention for promo here. The more I think about it, where he's like, there isn't a punch that you have that can keep me down for 3 seconds,
Yep.
and then he gets punched in this and that. Like I've said this before when I'm speaking seriously to all of you, because mainly I anymore, especially later in TwitWoW's run, I've just been like, okay, you know what? This is my outlet to be unhinged, and I have a great time with you guys, and I let things out that I should probably save for therapy. But when I'm very sincere in talking about pro wrestling with you guys, I tell you how important a good babyface is. And I feel like we've kind of lost that art. A babyface isn't just, hey, I like this insert town here and like all this stuff. It really is showing, even in the worst moments, that tenacity and that will to win. That's why, for better or worse, when I was a kid, I loved Shawn Michaels in his second run, and I would see him bleeding everywhere, and he would still fight to the last. Benoit the same way, Eddie the same way when he was babyface. Kevin Owens, I think, is spiritually connected to that era. When I read that he wrestled the Rumble matchup with a fractured foot, obviously I'm vehemently against anybody working hurt. Fuck you, Cody, for being like, look, I'm the best worker bee of them all. Kevin did it. There's no taking it back. And it was a great match. What's funny is my boy Angel was at Rumble Live with a friend of his. He said the crowd was burnt out on this. What I responded back to him was, bro, it plays off completely differently on stream when you're not having to take in that whole atmosphere. I told him, give yourself a week or give yourself however long and go back and watch this match. You'll see how good it was on both sides. Because I was sure to give Logan credit as well. But Kevin, his babyface offense and just like everything, I love him. I'm really starting to wonder if we'll ever see him as world champion again, which is such a fucking shame because I've always been curious what a babyface world champion Owens would look like in WWE. But, sooner or later, he's got to get singles gold again, I hope. And the guy I think is going to be, he's either 39 now or he's going to be 39 this year. And he's still performing at like such a fucking level that I love just
He is
everything that he does.
39 already.
Yeah. So he's going to, yeah. He's going to be fucking 40 this year.
In May.
And just insane. Just absolutely insane how good he is. But yeah,
May
just
7th, 1984 is Kevin's birthday.
damn. Damn. So, he's coming up there. And, we got these guys,
Old
though, that
Man Owens.
yeah, old man Owens. But you got these crop of guys now. I mean, him, Bauer, Sammy, that they are on the older side, but man, they're still competing at such a high level. It's amazing to see. So yeah, Kevin Owens, easy number one. So now we go to NXT, and because you started on the main roster side, I will start on the NXT side. Honorable mentions for this was a bit harder, as was the top five, but I think ultimately it came together, especially the top three.
I agree with you.
Um,
I had a harder time on this too.
Yes. So starting from, 10 to 6, again, as we said, um, number 10, Lash Legend, 9, No Quarter Catch Crew. So I guess I did use factions myself on this. 3, Kalani Jordan, 2, Ariana Grace. Very curious about her. I want to see more of her. And number 1, Enofe and Blade, who I'm hoping one day are NXT Tag Team Champions, but just hasn't been in the cards for
Do
them.
you know whose daughter Ariana Grace is?
No.
Santino.
Wow. I can already say that I like her better than her old man. I actually saw him on the January 25th episode of TNA, and I groaned. I still hate his face, but I'm not gonna, hold the child against the sins of the father. So Ariana Grace is a clean slate with me. Who's your honorable mentions for NXT?
Number 10, Blair Davenport.
Nice.
Number 9, Gigi Dolan.
Nice.
Number 8, Tavion Heights.
Ooh, I like that. I want to think more about him next quarter. But yeah, great pick.
Next quarter or no quarter? Oh,
Saw what you did there.
Lyra Valkyria is my number 7.
Okay. And then
my
6?
number 6 is Dion Lennox.
Excellent. I want to welcome Superior Paul to the chat.
Nice.
Bailey is my number 1 just because the coach you were on Raw. I mean, Paul, I think you would have wore that coat better. Just my opinion. But yeah, she was dazzling in it, but you would have been absolutely scrumptious. But now, with that said, and everybody's sufficiently uncomfortable, I can get to the top 5 for NXT. And it's funny, Lyra was in your honorable mentions because Lyra just made my main list at number 5.
Sweet.
Number 5.
Glad you get to
Yeah.
talk about her. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both have been fans for work for a while. I think she's a strong babyface champion, but I'm curious how far this title reign will go. Again, I am wondering if she'll embrace Tatum Paxley or if that's just going to be another feud because Tatum will feel spurned by her.
That is one of the most interesting stories going on in all of wrestling right now, to be honest. Like, maybe top 5, definitely top 10 for sure.
Yes. I'm reading Paul's latest message and I'm trying to keep it together. But no, Lyra's been strong as a champion. I'm curious what other dimensions this title reign can have. But yeah, I mean her in-ring's good. I like her theme. I actually like what the crowd adds to the theme. And yeah, I think she's just really well put together. But I'm curious, I'm always looking at talents like that, what's next kind of thing. So who inaugurates your main NXT list? Who opens it up at number 5?
Not who, John, but you.
Ooh.
Chase
Ooh.
U.
Oh, nice. No, yeah.
Chase U is number 5 on my Fave 5. And really, it's one of those things where I kind of wish that I could, like, group things together more. Rather than having to group things by faction, because there is an instance going on in AEW right now where there are like 3 people involved in a storyline that I really wish I could have just grouped together as a one like slot in my Fave 5, but I had to give them 2 separate slots, and then the third one is completely, separated from everything. But Chase U is in their own little like isolated storyline where like they're basically out of money. They've got everything just got repossessed basically. Not to mention there's like this whole thing going on like within where like Riley Osborne, or rather I should say Thea Hale, has this big crush on Riley Osborne. JC Jane is trying to like mentor her so she doesn't blow it with him, and like there's a lot of fun interconnectedness. Plus Duke Hudson is fucking great. And I do like Andre Chase just overall. So like this whole faction honestly just to me is like really, really, really entertaining.
I've said it once and I'll say it again, my man. I mean, I agree with your thoughts on the whole about the faction, but isolating Andre Chase, he's got a real sympathy to him, and he's surprisingly like solid in ring. I'm telling you, if you ever made him like one of those underdog, like Taka Michinoku challenging Triple H for the WF title type challengers for the NXT championship, either against an Ilya or maybe in the future Trick Williams, who knows? I think the crowd would really be behind him. I think it'd be very. I'm telling you, he's got a lot to offer. I think
It
so. I'm
is
really glad you gave him
unbelievable that one of the Bravado brothers made it to this point.
that. Yeah,
I remember them cutting promos in Ring of Honor back in like 2010 or 2011. Their whole gimmick was just that they were spoiled rich little shits.
yeah.
now,
God
now
damn.
Andre Chase, one of the Bravado brothers, whose gimmick used to be spoiled rich little shit, is a sympathetic character who's out of money.
Oh my god.
It's amazing how wrestling works sometimes.
It really is, man. It really is. I'm gonna be very quick about number 4 because there's not too much to say. Dijak,
I
should be a
really wanted
champion.
to put him on my list, man, but he just hasn't been given anything interesting to do, and like they're trying to make his character guy who wants to beat up on Native Americans, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Bro, it was so easy to book Dijak too, particularly as a babyface. Like imagine he literally has the Terminator aesthetic, and it's like, oh, I've come back to save NXT from you, whoever the champion is. And it
Yeah,
really, I don't understand why Ilya isn't a heel, to be honest, because I know you
he's
don't care
leaning
for Ilya.
into his heeldom lately. I feel like.
I feel like it too, which is the only reason I'm even making mention of any of this. Like, Dijak should be so much higher on the card than he is, and what he's doing right now is fucking garbage. I only
It's
wanted to mention
very,
him though
very
because,
below him.
yeah, oh my god,
He
1000%. The
should be
only reason
doing
he
what
even
Corbin is doing and teaming with Braun in the Dusty Classic.
see now that is a team of fucking chads. God, like we'll get you know inevitably we will get to Braun, so I'm holding off. But yeah, fucking Dijak should be higher on the card than what he is. What he's doing right now is garbage. And the only reason he made it this high on the list is because he's just so imposing and so goddamn impressive that even when you give him chicken shit, like he'll find a way to make it taste good, even if he can't make a chicken salad. So who's next on your list?
Well, I do know that we will inevitably get to Braun Breaker because he's my number 4.
Oh my god. We'll talk about it, friend.
I mean, he's just entertaining. He's just fucking pure testosterone in a human. Like
He is. He really, really is. God.
yeah, he's just really entertaining. I love the wolf dogs. I love his facial acting. I love how like he could be like one of his dad or uncle, you know, one of those guys. He can be like them, where he can be like this jock asshole that it's really easy to hate, but at the same time there is like definitely a certain charm to him where like he can just be this total like silly goofball that you just want to love too. And it's like, man, this dude's gonna go so far.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
He has
No.
such like this like adorable quality to him. Like when he brought up that he wanted the team to be called the Wolf Dogs, and Corbin was like, "Fuck you say?" Braun's face was just like so adorable. He thought he was just the shit, and Corbin rejected it, and he didn't want to show any weakness. He was like, "Yeah, we're the Wolf Dogs. What of it?" And it's like, oh my god, Braun, you're so cute sometimes.
When Corbin rejected it, I wanted to maul his face.
Dude,
and I
know.
felt
It's such a good name for them, too. The lone wolf and the dude who got that dog in him. It's perfect.
dude, like I have never felt more protective of Braun fucking Breaker, who can very easily protect himself,
I know.
than when Corbin hurt his feelings.
That's why, though. It's because we don't have to protect him physically. We have to protect his feelings.
Fucking no hair growing ass, thinking you can come up with a better name. Fuck you.
Fucking grown ass, tall ass, Caillou ass.
Yeah, dude. It's so obvious. Number and we will come back to that. We will come back to that. But
Thanks,
number 3 for
Trevor.
me. Number 3 for me, Trick Williams.
Same.
Yeah, I'm gonna be succinct about this too, because there's really not much for me to say. Dude's a fucking star. Like, here's the thing, and I hope Foster's still here. I never wanted to give the impression that I was anti-Trick because I didn't like his booking in the Iron Survivor Challenge because again, that's on the booking.
Dude,
But Trick,
honestly, that specific booking and that specific match is literally the singular reason he's not higher on my list.
yeah. But again, I want to stress that that's the booking. When it comes to Trick and how he carries himself, dude, this man, I hope, if there is any justice in the fucking world, which I increasingly believe that there is not, but if there is, this dude's gonna make a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Like
He's
he's
gonna be
magnet.
whooping that Trick all the way to the bank, baby.
As he fucking should, dude. I can't remember the last time that an NXT star made a brief appearance on a main roster show to do something, and they got the kind of reaction he did on that one SmackDown when he came to help out Mello being assaulted by Grayson and Austin Theory. Because then it clicked for me. I'm like, oh, you're not just over, you're over. And that's amazing. I mean, this is a guy too. If he keeps up this momentum, can we talk about World Heavyweight Champion Trick Williams? Hell, what I love about wrestling is even when we're all a bit drunk, we dare to dream. Could we even think about WWE champion Trick Williams? I don't fucking know. Only wrestling will know that in time. Only history will know that in time. But right now, if we're looking at right now, this dude's one of the most overacts in the entire company. Fuck just NXT. This is insane. This movement he's got going on, and that's why I'm very curious about Vengeance Day and how all of this is going to play out because he's double booked. But the idea, even, I mean, what really stuck out to me too was the fucking Dusty Cup matchup. Trick and Carmelo against Inoue and Blade. And every time Trick was in the match, it was always so much louder than when Carmelo was in the match. And Carmelo isn't a fucking slouch. Carmelo is a great competitor, and I really like his character too. That's why I've been having fun calling him fake friend ass because I think he's just so natural as a fucking heel. But yeah, people love Trick. Booker T, who, for a long time I was like, on commentary, but I think he's really found himself in NXT, and I
Oh
love
no,
what he
he
adds to
still
Trick's
sucks
act.
on commentary. He just adds the one good thing to Trick's entrance, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's a great hype man for Trick, the kind of hype man that I wish if Carmelo was a real friend, he could have been to him. But
Honestly, they should keep paying Booker T just to be the guy that enters the arena with Trick. Like literally, just have him enter with Trick every time with a mic and just be his hype man. He doesn't even have to stick around at ringside and be his manager. Literally, just do what he's been doing from commentary, but stop doing the commentary part.
yeah, whoop that Trick. What? Whoop that Trick. Yeah, like I love it. It's such a complete act. And I'll tell you, that is my only concern. Like, I don't think Trick needs Booker T. I don't want to like make that kind of hyperbolic statement, but it is that nice little garnish. I do worry on the main roster. He's not going to have that garnish. Although I will admit, it is hilarious to me when I paint the mental picture of Wade Barrett trying to be like a hype man for Trick because even he likes Trick. So, like, I don't know. We'll have to see what they do. Did you have anything you wanted to add about Trick, though? Because we shared the same number three?
I think you pretty much covered it, man.
Sweet. Then I'll have you go next, right, for number two, or should I go next?
You oh. Well no, you went for three, and then I just interjected with who my three was, so you should still be going next.
Okay, well, I'm wondering I'm wondering where this guy ranks for you because either we share this one or he's even your number one, and I would fucking love that. Number two for me, Obafemi.
Yeah, I wrote it down before you
Um,
even finished saying before you even said his name. I
yeah,
just knew that's who you were talking about.
dude. Let me tell you, when Braun does go to the main roster full time, NXT belongs to Obafemi, at least in my heart. Like, I fucking love
It's
this
funny you
dude.
think he's gonna wait that long.
Yeah, damn. Damn. No, man. I fucking love this dude. I have told you, and you know how high I am on Braun Breaker. Like you more than anybody know it, and this audience knows it because every time he's not on the main roster, which finally is fucking changing, I've bitched about it because I'm just an angry old man at heart. But Obafemi is some of the like real competition that Braun has for that top spot. It's unbelievable to me. I mean, this dude has a fucking aura about him and a magnetism about him. It's like, oh, that's the fucking guy. I love it. I love it. I love that he's North American champion. That title looks so good with him. I love how fuck the suit. The suit, that's fucking 1990s. That's fucking late 1980s. That's Ric Flair era. Here we come out and fucking premier turtlenecks and fucking cashmere sweaters and this and that, and it makes it look so good. The man's a walking fashion statement. I love his voice. I think he's got such a distinctive voice, even if he's not a good quote unquote promo, which even that's debatable because I've enjoyed his promos too. Like, even just that one soundbite, what can we expect from Obafemi's title reign? Domination. I, I love it. I fucking love all of it. And this dude is only 25 fucking years old. I did remember the correction. You are going to get so much mileage out of this fucking dude. I think this dude is what they wished Amos was. I think Amos is a good dude. Every time I've heard him talk, like, he's got a likability to him too, but like, he just was never going to be that guy. Obafemi can be, though. 100%. Like, look, whatever's going to happen with Brock, and I honestly don't think you should ever let him in the door again. Fine. I think Obafemi could be your new Brock. I think Braun Breaker could be. We have a new age of beasts, my man, and it is fucking good. Oh my God. I love this dude. I can't wait to see him rip the head off the dragon at Vengeance Day when he beats Dragon Lee again, because that's what you get for veiling face, you fucking insect. How tall even are you? Yeah, not tall enough. Oh,
That was
I'm
really
sorry.
mean.
It was, and I'm so fucking proud of it. Fuck. I'm
Wow.
sorry. I'm way too turned on. I'm going to spray myself with some water while you give the next one on your list. Who's next on your list?
Number 2 on my list is the Metaphor.
No, you know what? I love it because I know how much you love that faction. That's good shit, man. Talk about
It's
it.
funny because we've got Mommy already on the main roster in Rhea Ripley. We've got, I've been calling Santos Daddy. I think I might have to start calling him Poppy because he is Latino and that fits him. And we've got another daddy in another company as well that we'll get around to soon enough. But Javaris has taken to referring to Lash Legend as Mama, and I love that, and I'm sticking with it. She is incredible.
She
And
is. Yeah.
Jakara Jackson is charismatic as hell. And I like Oro Mensa, but I want to see more from him before I overcommit to praising him too much because I don't know enough about him. But I do like him, and I want to like him more. And Noam Dar is just comedy gold. And of course, he can still, do his thing in the ring. He's still great in the ring. But like the comedy of Dar, the legitimacy of Lash, and the charisma of Jakara, even if Oro wasn't around, I was legitimately considering putting my Fave 5 by herself. That's how much she's grown on me. So that's how strong the Metaphor are in their spot here at number 2.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Number 1 for me, because I've been holding on, it's Braun fucking Breaker. I'll tell you, that Rumble appearance made me fucking pop. I loved it. I can't believe Dominic Mysterio eliminated him. And that's why the booking of WWE has kind of perplexed me, because we've got Andrade on Raw, but it's teased that Braun's going to go to SmackDown. But in his exclusive after his Rumble appearance, he said he wasn't done with the Judgment Day. I was just hoping he'd beat the shit out of Dom at like Elimination Chamber or something. So I don't know what Braun's going to do, but like, I'm telling you, if they lock him down on SmackDown even this Friday, he is 1000%. Fuck the campaign if I have more of an emotional pick, like if KO's in it. Braun is 1000% my pick for Money in the Bank in 2024. 100 fucking percent. Oh my God, this fucking dude. I am so happy that I think he's getting ready to take that next step. You already said, you already made so many salient points about his adorableness and just his temperament. I fucking love him. He's the quintessential jock. He reminds me of a friend of mine that I had in high school. Like, he's just, he's got that affability to him, but he's still just such a Chad. Like, God, masculinity is back, baby, and it's healthy because he distanced himself from his transphobic fucking dad.
Yep.
Oh God, like, oh man, he's great. Braun, I love you, baby. I like it because, that's the thing. I even liked him in the early days of NXT when it was still kind of finding its himself beyond black and gold
Yep.
and he had the feud with Champ and everything. Like this has been a long running thing for me. And
Mhm.
Braun Breaker may be one of the first top guys that I've embraced. And I'm like, who cares if you win the title 20 times? Who else is going to do it? Anyone else? Look at them. They don't even use protein powder. Like, what the fuck are they going to do about it? He's great, man. I fucking love him. Yeah, I hate that he's teaming with Caillou. He can't even grow hair. He's an anti-draw. Like, what are you doing? Get out of his face. God. I mean, when JBL, who was one of the worst drawing champions ever, tells you to your face you can't polish a turd, you're fucking cooked. Don't associate Braun with this. Fuck. But no, he's soon gonna be on the main roster away from fucking Corbin. Hopefully, because I hope Corbin doesn't follow him to SmackDown. And let me think. Logan Paul's US champion. God, dude, honestly, if KO can't do it, fuck LA Knight, man. I don't give a fuck. I've never liked LA Knight. I never will. Have Braun be the fucking line cutter and be like, oh no, little man. And I would want him to call LA Knight a little man because, I mean,
Oh, I
come
think
on.
LA Knight is taller than Braun, though, is the problem.
Yeah, not. You know what? No, I am gonna say it. I'm already unhinged enough. Not where it counts. Yeah. Um. So. So. So he need- he needs
Oh my
he needs
god.
he needs to cut the line and be like, look, little man, it doesn't need a megastar. It needs a whatever, a wolf dog or just a dog, a guy that's got that dog in him, as you said, to beat, this internet wrestling wannabe. And it's like, hey, I'm not a wannabe. I'm the spear. He doesn't even finish the fucking promo. God, I'm out of my mind right now. I'm not even making sense anymore. It doesn't matter. Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, WrestleMania, do it. Because if there's anybody else that also embodies America in both the best and worst ways, it's Braun fucking Breaker, baby. Yeah. So, who is number one on your NXT list?
Oh, it's Obafemi.
Uh, Dude, can I just say something real quick before you go off? I love that because I know the night that he won the North American title, you were asleep that night and I was partying with the guys, but you went back and watched it and you've watched everything since and you're like, oh no, this dude's fucking it. I love that for you. So please, how did we get to this point with you and Obafemi?
Well, it's funny because it all kind of started during the breakout tournament because Obafemi was kind of a specter for me because I had not seen any of his matches until I want to say the semifinals. I had seen Dion Lennox and I had seen Tavion Heights, and I loved both of those guys, and I was really excited for both of them, and I wanted them to win. And then I saw Obafemi, and I saw the way that he dominated, and I just immediately thought, like, okay, well, now this guy has to win, and then he has to successfully cash in his win into whatever title he challenges for, and then he did it. And like, his mic skills are, in my opinion, fucking great. I think he's a great promo. I love that he has the completely natural accent that Apollo Crews had to fake, basically. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's great, man. I think he's got it on the mic. His look is incredible. He's completely believable in the ring. I think he's good enough in the ring. Honestly, this is the kind of guy that if you wanted to have him drop the North American Championship at whatever takeover happens or whatever PLE NXT has during WrestleMania weekend and immediately have him be like a post Mania Raw call up, I would be stoked about that because he's ready for the main roster as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, I love that you have that much faith in him because I will say one more thing about the night that me, Sean, DBK, Javaris, like everybody were partying in the Discord when he won. Javaris stood out to me because he wanted Obafemi to keep the contract for the actual NXT championship, the Dragonov's holding. Now at the time, I was already fucking with Obafemi. You even know that I even saw like his debut proper and I liked him, but it had been a while since I had seen him again because the 2023 was a rough year for me. I was checked out of a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like, oh, it'd be too much too soon. But I gotta tell you, man, when I saw that promo of him in the fucking turtleneck with the North American Championship over his shoulder, I'm like, you know what? You could have swapped that out with the NXT title. I still would have felt the same sense of conviction. Like, yeah, Javaris, I'll give Javaris this. He was right. I think you could have held on to it for the NXT World title, and I still would have believed it. This dude's got a presence that you can't teach it. And I think, again, as you said, his promos are great and he carries himself so well. And for you to even have the confidence to be like, he could drop that North American title earlier than people think, like during WrestleMania weekend and be called up and then be fine. Like he's ready. I can't even argue that point either. Because the more I think about it, I'm like, well, what is he lacking compared to other people that get to be on the main roster that I think are worse than he is? Like, yeah, I think you're spitting nothing but facts, dude. So I just want to back you up on that. I think you're
Let me
absolutely
ask you a
right.
question.
Sure.
You and a lot of other people have been clamoring for one of Jey Uso or Braun Breaker to be the one to challenge Gunther at WrestleMania
Yeah.
for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
If Obafemi loses to Dragon Lee at Vengeance Day, immediately gets called up and ends up in that conversation and ends up being Gunther's WrestleMania opponent, would anyone think to themselves, man, this is too much too soon. There's no way that dude can beat Gunther?
No. No, because I think what that match achieves is the one thing that WrestleMania should always achieve with as many matches as it can, and that's the spectacle.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me the visual of Obafemi standing nose to nose with
How
Gunther.
about
He
over?
might even
How about over Gunther?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he's even taller than Gunther,
Yeah.
isn't he? And then you would have answered in the affirmative. Like, you can't pass a spectacle like that up if it's on the table. So, like, yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
absolutely, man,
Yeah, like I
absolutely.
think I've said this on a show recently, and I'm just gonna say it again. I feel like Omos is like that attraction. Like he's the big tall guy that can't really move all that well. So to me, he's almost like a Great Khali or a Big Show. Obafemi is the Batista.
Yes,
He is an
yes.
attraction, but he is also just like he's just fucking box office. Like he is the star. He's the guy that you put on the fucking poster. He's the guy that you put the world title on. He's the guy that you send to talk shows. He's the guy that can be in movies. Like he's that dude.
And here's the thing, just to substantiate your Batista comparison, because you're 100% right. You've got Batista with even more upside because Batista came into the business late. I have to remind
Yeah.
everybody, Obafemi, only 25.
I think Batista started at like 29 or 30 years old.
Yeah,
And when
like
I say
that's
started, I
fucking
mean like
crazy.
in OVW learning the business to start.
Exactly. Exactly. He didn't become the man until so much later. Obafemi, because he's already at this point at 25. Oh my God, Obafemi fans, buy your stock now because I'm really, really hoping that like in the next 10 years or so, we're just fucking eating and eating and eating and
Yeah.
eating till we can't eat anymore. It's gonna be a ride, man. Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Batista tried out at WCW's power plant where he was told he would never make it in the wrestling business by
Damn.
Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. Then he went to the WWF and he was advised to train with Afa Anoa'i in the Wild Samoan Training Center. And I believe Afa is Roman's uncle, by the way. Roman Reigns' uncle. And he trained there. And his debut match was October 30th of 1999. He was 30 years old.
Wow.
His debut match, he was 30 years old.
That's crazy.
Obafemi has a 5+ year head start on the Batista career arc.
And in the wrestling industry, that makes all the
It
fucking
does,
difference.
because like where we would argue like Batista, I think most of us would agree that Batista's absolute best work was his heel run against Cena towards the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
Although, I
Yeah.
mean, his babyface stuff in the late 2000s was good too. But even then, he was in his late 30s.
Yes.
If Obafemi has a similar arc, he'll be in his early 30s, and he'll still have so much time left.
Unbelievable. I fucking love it. All right. Well, you go first on this list. This is the list I'm always the most unenthused about usually. AEW. So what
Dude,
do we
I
got
had
for
a hard
AEW?
time with AEW. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention, I know you had Kalani Jordan in your honorable mentions. I didn't overlook her. I thought about her, and the only reason I didn't have her in my top 10 is because I just feel like she is more prospect than product right now. I just think that she has more potential than she's realizing yet.
That is more than fair. I can tell you the reason why she made in my honorable mention, especially as high up as she did over No Quarter Catch Crew and Lash Legend. I just really liked her Battle Royal performance. I think that really made a believer out of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
All
But
right, now on to AEW.
yes.
Am I going first for honorable mentions here?
Yes, you are, because I
Oh.
believe I went first for NXT honorable mentions.
All right.
So
Number 10, Brian Keith.
nice.
I'm so sick of the way that they do this man dirty. Number 9, Taya Valkyrie.
Also nice.
Number 8, Johnny TV.
Excellent.
Number 7, Wardlow.
Good.
And
Yeah.
number 6, Roderick Strong.
All right. 10 for me, Wardlow. 9, Queen Aminata. 8, Chris Statlander. 7, Brian Danielson. 6, Claudio Castagnoli. So, who begins your AEW Fave 5?
Chris Statlander.
Excellent. Hey, no problem with that, man. She's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. She this whole storyline going on with Chris and Stokely. If Stokely was an in-ring performer, he would have made my Fave 5 as well. I just didn't put him on because I don't really like to include non-wrestlers in my Fave 5.
Yeah.
That's just a personal choice, though. I know that you do sometimes, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
Chris's in-ring work is awesome. I think she's a great wrestler. Mic work is good enough, and I think it's funny because there's like two aspects of wrestling. There's like the actual physical technical side of the wrestling, and then there's like the acting side of it. But like they're both of course comprised of a bunch of smaller aspects. And I think the acting side, promos are a part of it, but I also think that Chris is really good at all of the other stuff involved in acting, like her body language, her facial expressions. She comes off as very sincere when she doesn't have a mic in front of her face. I think her promos are almost like bad for her character because of how good she is when she's not talking.
Yeah.
Like when she is
And
allowed to just emote and exist and like display her emotion via the body language and the facial expressions and stuff like that, that comes off as so much more sincere to me than when someone shoves a microphone in her face and expects her to tell us how she's thinking or feeling.
right, right.
I don't think that her promos come off as very very sincere, but when Stokely does some silly shit and she's just naturally reacting to the silly shit, that comes off so much better to me than when you ask her to cut a promo.
I would agree. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point you make, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, so yeah, I think Chris is a really good performer, and I like to see her on TV a lot, and she's been on TV a lot, so I'm pretty happy.
Absolutely. Um, gonna be quick about this one. Number 5, Mariah May.
Nice.
Only reason she's not higher is because she really still hasn't done too much. I mean, I think she's only had 2 matches, 'cause I know she had a match with Lady Frost recently on
I
Collision.
didn't get to see that because it was during the Royal Rumble.
Right, yeah, same. But, she's 2-0, she did win that match. What is there really to say? I mean, we know how fantastic she is. We know how good she is. I'm just waiting for her to really be able to show it. And, I get that there are slow burns in wrestling, but the problem is AEW has fumbled so many bags, Tony Khan bag fumbler, kudos to Javaris, that there's a difference between a slow burn and just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I don't know which one this is yet. So hope she gets to show the world what she can really do, because I really do believe that she has it in her, a lot like a Jamie Hayter and others, to really be one of the goats of her generation, to really be one of those women's wrestlers that people think fondly about in like 10 years.
Yeah.
She's that good to me. And I won't be told otherwise. Not saying you will. I'm just saying in general, like I'm that in my convictions of how good she is.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's number 5. Who's next for you on your list?
Yeah, I honestly didn't even consider Mariah May here just because, again, like, I just feel like she hasn't done anything. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, she's wrestled 2 matches, and I've only seen one of them, and the one that I saw was immediately overshadowed by Deanna. So, like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, love Mariah May. She's an amazing performer. I just want to see AEW actually use her well, and I am terrified that they won't. So, number
Yeah.
4 for me is Willow Nightingale. So that's kind of the whole story there with them and Stokely and that whole thing. I wish I could have just kind of wrapped them into one slot here because it's kind of like all one thing packaged together. But they're not like a faction. I wouldn't have like a name to give it, so I just gave them separate slots. And I just think Willow's story, her character, her promos, everything is just a notch above Chris. I love Chris. I think Chris is better in the ring than Willow, not by a significant amount, just by a little bit. But I think that everything else, Willow is a notch above Chris. So that's why Willow ranked above Chris for me.
All right. Number 4 for me, Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh wow.
I just think the dude's a beast. I'm loving his heel work. I loved him as a babyface, so I think I'm just a fan of the dude in general. It's a shame that Undisputed Kingdom, like Adam Cole and friends, and I do love Adam, but I do kind of have sour grapes that it just seems like Roddy's going to be the international champion. Although, to be fair to Roddy, he's been doing some of the best character work he's ever done, so I can't be too mad about it. But I just look at Konosuke Takeshita, and I look at a man that could really bring a different vibe to that international championship. So I would love to see him be a future champion with that title. I just think he's fantastic. Really, nothing more to say. So, who's next on your list?
Next, number 3 on my list, Dalton Castle.
Love it, love it. I know you've been a fan of his for a long time, so that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
have been a fan of his for a long time, but I haven't really been keeping up with him too well. But during this grading period, I did watch his performance in the Survival of the Fittest match on Final Battle, and I hated that match, but I he was to me the only thing keeping it good, and it was when he got eliminated that it went to hell, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And he has also just since getting eliminated from that match because Johnny TV distracted him and contributed to his getting eliminated from the match. Since that moment, though, he has been putting out these super entertaining backstage segments with Lexi Nair, who props to Lexi Nair too. She's also great. But they've been doing these backstage segments where Dalton is just down bad. Like it is like down bad Corbin, maybe even with the volume turned up a little bit, honestly, because Dalton Castle is like living in a dumpster. It feels like like he's down bad. He's keeping slices like Kraft singles in his suit, and that's all he's been eating.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, it's so bad. He offered one to Lexi, and she was just like, sure. And she just kind of took it, and she did that thing where you just kind of pinch it between two fingers and keep it as far away from you as possible because it was in his suit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
What part of your body was this touching?
exactly.
And then that recent segment where Lexi asked Johnny if she was going to give Dalton a match, and he was just like, no. And Dalton came out of nowhere. He was like, you! And started chasing him while Johnny was parkouring away. He's just amazing and underappreciated and really just underrated in general. And I think that Dalton Castle's a national treasure. So yeah, I want to see him get more to do. But most of all, I just really want to see where this storyline with him and Johnny goes.
Yeah, absolutely,
I
man.
hope
I
that we
love it.
get them on AEW television at some point, but I highly doubt that'll happen because Tony Khan is, weird about that kind of stuff.
Indeed. I just love hearing the genuine joy in your voice, though, because I can tell that, yeah, that love for Dalton is still real after all this time.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me, Swerve Strickland.
Oh my.
Anthony, stop putting him against old fucks. I'm fucking tired, okay? Like,
So are
Jesus
they.
fucking Christ. Yeah. Wow. Proud of you. Um, but yeah, like, I don't know, Anthony, go fuck yourself. Swerve to me, future world champion if this company's smart, and that's, the jury's still out. So, I don't really know. I'm really getting sick and tired of them putting him with, low-key racist cowboy, which, I mean, Paige, I
I
used to really
mean,
like you, man.
can we even still call it low key at this point?
No, I wish we could though. In fact, actually, no, I don't, because I wish we didn't have to call him a racist cowboy at all. Hangman, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you morphing into Silas Young in all the worst ways? Um, but yeah, fucking Swerve's fantastic. He's still over as hell, and I've waited for him, whether it be NXT, Lucha Underground, especially when he was Killshot, and now here to just see what he could do as the fucking champion because I feel like he's always had that ability in him. AEW, it does feel like he's come the closest, just if we go by crowd reaction and momentum. But God, Anthony's like, I don't know. God, me and the black community, we're not really, on good terms. So do I really put a world title on? Yes, fucking yes. I'm telling you, that dude's got stuff. Anthony, go to therapy. You've got stuff. But
He
Swerve's
sure
fantastic.
does.
God, I hate it. Who's next on your list?
Number 2, the reason I have to stop referring to Santos as daddy and start referring to him as Poppy, the real daddy, Christian Cage.
Amazing. Fucking
I mean,
amazing.
he's literally the patriarch of pro wrestling.
The father we all never knew we needed and never deserved.
Speak for yourself. I've always known.
Wow. Now you use tone? Again, though, I'm low-key impressed. Alright. Um, number 2 for me, a guy that brings credibility to the fucking clown show that is this company, Samoa Joe. I mean,
Nice.
Anthony, again, you're really a piece of shit, first of all.
Yes.
Second of all, you're utterly spineless and you're a fucking coward and you can't even control your locker room. But you know who was a locker room leader the whole time? They had the Jack Perry bullshit and the CM Punk bullshit and the Sammy Guevara bullshit and the Andrade, but like Samoa Joe. Always been quiet, always kept his head down, always been a leader, always understood what pro wrestling is, and at his scrums, he doesn't go into business for himself. You know what he puts over? The fucking title. Puts over the company, puts over contenders like a true pro wrestler does that wants to build the company he's a part of. Joe's the consummate fucking pro. Like I feel like there are so few role models in pro wrestling. But if I was a pro wrestler, I'd be wanting having Joe's number on speed dial. I would want to be his mentee. I would want to be like, dude, how does this fucking work? Because even at this stage of his career, he's a world champion now. And this was after the quote unquote injury prone period. And he still goes and he fucking dominates and he looks fucking great. I haven't agreed with his booking. Like I feel like they kind of made him look, a bit weaker. With Hook kind of fighting back and kicking out at fucking one after a muscle buster. But Joe himself, when he gets to control his product and his character and everything else, fucking solid all day, every day. I love this dude. I think I will always be a Samoa Joe fan. And I just had to put respect on his name because, again, AEW is a goddamn clown show, but Joe ain't laughing. And I love it. So, who rounds out your AEW Fave 5 list?
You know who it is.
Is it Swerve?
It's the Mogul Embassy.
The Ma's a faction! Faction, because we don't do fractions! All right, talk about it.
Well, I mean, 1/5 of the Mogul Embassy is Swerve, and 3/5 of the Mogul Embassy is the former and should be current trios champions, Bishop Khan, Toa Leona, and Brian Cage. And the other fifth of the Mogul Embassy is your boy, Prince Nana, getting everyone hyped, doing the dance on his way out. It's a great faction, and I do appreciate fractions too.
Yeah,
So,
you appreciate shitting in my mouth just going immediately into fractions after I said we don't do fractions? Like, are you trying to embarrass me in public? Like,
not
we'll have to talk later.
embarrassed. No, I would never try to
No,
embarrass you. Of course not.
no, we'll have a talk later. We'll have a talk later.
I can't wait for our talk. They're always so fun.
But
No, but yeah, no, it's a really good quality faction, and I'm really angry that
yeah,
that Anthony decided to take the titles off of them, the trios titles, and they not only did he take the titles off of the trio, but he didn't even like compensate by putting a world title on Swerve like he should have done months ago by now.
yeah, yeah. It may never happen, and that
I
makes me sad.
agree. That's really hilarious in the most depressing way imaginable.
Yeah, it's like a sad cackle. Sad because obviously you want to cry, but the cackle, well, it's not even really joyous because it's purely compensation. But yeah,
It's like
I
the
don't know.
Seth Rollins cackle, but then it devolves into the Squidward cackle.
Yeah. I know what it means to be a Squidward now. Number one for me, Christian Cage. It's pretty much everything you said. He's daddy. I honestly wish that he would have finished the job on Copeland because I don't want to cope in this land. And yeah,
You
just
shouldn't
greatest
have
TNT
to
champion.
either.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Greatest TNT champion of all time. Darby Allin can suck eggs. What does Darby Allin have to do with it? Well, former TNT champion, and there's always a good time to shit on Darby Allin. Go fuck yourself. And yeah, Kill Switch should know his place and maybe learn to smile more when in the presence of his father. That's right. I just used a witty line, and I do it again in service of Christian. That's how much of a daddy he is. So that rounds out AEW. Now let's get to something interesting and relevant. Stardom. Oh my god, my favorite part of these commentaries. So I will begin with my honorable mentions. Then you do your honorable mentions, and then I will inaugurate us on this side.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god! All right. So 5 for me is Azumi. 4 is 1/3 of the Trika. It's Micah.
Oh my
Regular
god.
Micah. Yeah, I just did fractions because you're not gonna leave me out in the
Oh
fucking cold.
my
Uh,
god, Daika.
oh, 3 is Hazuki.
Oh,
Um,
are you
2 is
rhyming me the
Saori Ano,
notes? Oh my god.
and 1, and I really feel like she was about to break out onto the main list, but she's leaving. 1 is Megan Bain. I really,
Oh.
really enjoyed her this quarter. She
Yeah.
was really close, closer than you guys might think.
Yeah,
She
because this
is
was the quarter
amazing.
that she had the singles match with Julia.
Yeah,
That was honestly the best match of her AEW or of her Stardom career, which is probably just the best match of her career. Period.
yeah, and I mean, I'd lecture at Anthony again, but he's hopeless. Just fuck. I can't believe AEW is getting another one. Jesus Christ. But yeah, she
Bro, I
came really close.
asked some AEW fans before we went live here in another server their top 10 favorite AEW performers. Didn't use a gender, literally just said top 10 AEW performers. Someone even said, "Oh, are you talking about in-ring only or just general?" And I specifically said personal favorites overall. When you've got AEW on TV, who are you most excited to see? And would you like to know how many women appeared in the 4 lists that I was given?
I don't want to say 0, but my gut says 0.
It's not zero. It's not zero.
2?
3.
Wow. So who are the 3?
That's where it gets kind of hilarious because one of the most common women that's appeared in, I think, 2, I want to say she appeared in 2. Yeah, she appeared in 2 of the 4 lists, including being number 1 on one of the lists, even though she has not wrestled since, like, I don't know, fucking August. Jamie Hayter.
Wow.
Right? So people fucking love Jamie Hayter, but she's not around. And then the other 2 that were mentioned, and they were mentioned as like lower rankings, like numbers 8 and 10, I want to say on lists. Tony Storm and Hikaru Shida.
Well, so it shows that they definitely appreciate the workers. Like, obviously, you know how I feel about Tony personally, but professionally, she is doing solid work right now. So it doesn't surprise me that it would resonate. And Hikaru Shida is awesome. So actually, yeah, that was better than I thought it was gonna go.
I
Yeah,
just find it
wow.
interesting though that other than the woman that's been missing for months and months and months at this point, not another woman other than Jamie Hayter appeared in anyone's top 7.
Yeah, that's wild. Oof. Again, especially at a time when women's wrestling has never been more over or
Right?
making more money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So who is your honorable mention for Stardom?
Number 10, Momo Watanabe.
Ooh, nice.
Dude, I honestly, it would have been Momo Kogo. I feel like if she would have been around, but she just hasn't been around. Number 9, Starlight Kid.
Nice.
Number 8, Zoom Zoom, Azumi.
Nice.
Number 7, I think you're gonna appreciate this. Also, she's probably in your Fave Five. Hanan.
Yes.
Number 6, Saori Ano.
Excellent. Interesting that we both had Saudi in honorable mentions. Very nice.
She is
5 for,
our white belt champion.
5 for me. I mean, you called it right on the nose, brother. It is Hanan.
Dude, you had her even
Still,
higher last time.
I did. There were
You had her at
some
number
changes.
2 last time.
Yeah, believe me, there were some big changes, but she's still, I think, a part of that solid rotation now. I really do. I've enjoyed watching her growth. Her interaction with Kid in the Wonder Rumble in the final 2 was amazing. I mean, God, like she's so good. And she's only gonna get better. That's the scary thing. I enjoy her team with Mayu of eye contact. I do think a goddess's reign with Mayu would do wonders for her.
That feels
Um,
inevitable to me.
it does feel inevitable to me too, but I'm still kind of holding off because I do have to wonder with both Mayu and Tam, how far away are we from them retiring? And that is something I still think about, bro, with the Stardom landscape. Like, if you think that they've already gone through some convulsions, with Bushi Road and restructuring and Julia leaving, Stardom's identity when Mayu and Tam leave, for better or worse, it's going to be really interesting what becomes of that identity in the aftermath. But I think her matches lately, including her feud with May Sera, which I still don't think has gotten a proper blow off because I need another singles match between those two, has been fucking exceptional. So yeah, I love Hanan. If you haven't bought stock in her yet, go back and watch some of her stuff and really consider it because she's only going to go up from here. So who begins your Stardom Fave 5 list?
The Red Queen, Utami Hayashishita, is number 5 on my list.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, all right, talk about it because I know she's competing. She was superseded by four other women, but she still made it for you. So
Yeah, I do
still,
absolutely
yeah,
love Utami. I think she's phenomenal. Main reason that she's as low as she is for me is just like recency bias, basically. I just feel like, the 2 months or so that we've been covering, it feels like she's been really good, but not like outstanding. Like she doesn't have quite the aura I feel like that she had before her injury quite yet. I'm sure she'll get it back. And I still get giddy and like butterflies whenever she hands a rose out to someone, and she's still just amazing. But
yeah.
yeah, she's still amazing, and she's still incredible enough that she still cracked my top 5. But I don't know. It just feels like there's like maybe like 1 or 2% missing from pre-injury Utami. I don't know. Maybe it's just me too. It could be.
I know. I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think it's just because I know how you're always looking like me for somebody to do something big in the quarter, and I've been a bit scared with her injury too. But I feel like more and more she's getting back to the Atami I know. Like if she would have like if we look at her first match, and then if like how she was in that first match, if she was that way all quarter, I might have even been similar to you because I'm like, what happened to the Utami I love? Like, is she okay? Is everything okay? But I can tell where she's getting more involved. She's getting more explosive again. I think it is coming together. I think she's finding herself again as much as we're like looking for that Utami again. So yeah, I don't blame you at all. Speaking of Queen's Quest though, and more pointedly Aphrodite, number 4 for me is Saya Kamitani. Not often I feel like you get Kamitani on one of my like main fave fives. Usually, like at best, she's like an honorable mention or whatever. But I'll tell you, I respect the fuck out of her to have the injury she did, to have the psychological blow that she did, and to come back and not only keep the same confidence, but maybe even grow in confidence.
Yeah,
Like I really like Micah. I mean, clearly she was number 9 in my honorable mention. She is in my top 10
she
overall
is your
in
favorite
Stardom.
member of the Trika.
Yes, indeed. God, and that's only because Inaba doesn't work enough. But regardless, I mean, Micah is fantastic. But I will say, come February 4th, if you were to tell me Kamitani's a new world champion, I wouldn't bat an eye at that. She seems so ready for this fucking spot more than she ever has. And to be honest, while you hate to see anybody get injured, like maybe it kind of solidified her status as the top woman in a way because it's like, look at that, I came back from this and I haven't lost a fucking step. And if anything, I'm putting my foot even harder on the fucking gas.
Yeah.
She's undeniable. Even if she doesn't win in this first defense of Micah, she will be world champion this year. Or the very latest, the very fucking latest, early 2025. But I don't see it getting that far. This woman's the next world champion. And regardless of who I love in Stardom and who I would like to see be next, even I can't deny that Saya deserves her time to run with the torch. And I think it'll burn brighter than ever in the Phoenix's hands. So I just wanted to give her flowers. Who is next on
That
your
was really
list?
beautifully said, man. I really appreciate your words there. That was really nice.
Yeah,
This might be
absolutely.
the first time you've ever had Kamitani on your Fave 5, too.
Yeah, I know. And she's really earned it this time, man. I mean, dude, even just that fucking elimination match with Queen's Quest alone, where that fucking Frankensteiner finished to Momo, and she pulled it off so fucking clean. Like this woman's a freak, dude, and she's ready to be the woman around here. And I think it's gonna be one hell of a run.
Oh, you know
But I'm
what? You
curious who's
had
next.
her at
Yeah.
number 3 on your August 23rd, 2021 Fave 5.
Oh damn, so it's been a while though. Like you figure
Yeah.
by that point, Jesus.
But I'm
Yeah.
looking here, and I think that was the only other time that you've ever had her in your Fave 5 before.
Yeah. No, she's got an energy about her right now, man. And that Phoenix Strike finisher,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah,
It's
man. It's good
convoluted,
shit.
but it looks cool, and obviously they're booking it really strongly because it works.
Yes. Yes, it does.
That
Yes, it
said,
fucking
though,
does.
from something new on your end to something a little more familiar on my end, somebody that was in my Fave 5 last time around and is on it again this time around, May Seda is number 4 for me.
You know what? I knew she was going to be on your list because I was even thinking about May when I mentioned her and Hanan, and I'm like, oh yeah, neither one of us mentioned her in honorable mentions, and I figured that would be because at least on your end she'd be in your fave five. So talk about it, my man. You still loving what she's doing, huh?
Yeah, I feel like she has really solidified herself as just straight up one of my favorite performers in the world right now, one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I think anytime she is in the ring, whether it's a singles match, a multi-woman match, a tag match, it does not matter. Anytime she's in the ring, she brings that spark of energy to where if you weren't paying attention before, she forces you to. She is like a lightning bolt strikes the ring, and it's like all of a sudden there's so much more movement in the ring, and it gets your attention, and it makes you pay attention, and it makes you look, and it's like, wow, this girl's insane. This girl's crazy, and it's wild too that she's not just fast like Nathan Frazier's annoying ass. She's fast and she's incredibly technically precise and sound. And I think that Azumi has been winning the sort of technique awards for the 5 star every year since she started being in the 5 star. If May Sera gets into the 5 star, Azumi's going to have competition for that award big time.
I agree with you 1,000%. May is so special. I've said before in a few live reactions, May Sera to me is like when you got exposed to the cruiserweights in ECW or WCW for the first time.
Yeah.
Like you're just
Yeah.
seeing something so new and so exciting you've
Yes.
never seen before. And I think it's a bigger compliment to May Sera now than it would have been back then because today when it is all about the flippy shit and out popping, your opponent and what crazy stuff can I do? She's not even like that crazy. There's just such an artistry to what she does, and everything she does is so fucking clean. Like,
It's
God,
satisfying, dude. Her movement is so
yeah,
satisfying.
it really is. It
It's like
really, really is, man.
it's like pulling off a really difficult to execute but really satisfying combo in a fighting game, and she does it consistently.
Exactly. Exactly. God, I love how you put that, man. That was perfect. All right. Number 3 for me, Starlight Kid. We're on the
Woohoo!
come up, baby. It's finally fucking happening. God, I love that she's getting something to do. I love that she's fighting Saori Ano for the Wonder title come February 4th. I'm hoping it's another match of the year contender. I only have one match so far, and that was the Wonder Rumble.
Yep.
Um, which
Hey,
she
you
did
know what
win.
though, man? We are only a month into the year. For you to only have one match in your match of the year contenders list, in my mind, that is a very good thing because I still remember 2 years ago when you had like 20 something matches
Yeah,
in your honorable mention. I was like, bruh.
cut it down. But no, I really am trying to be on top of my list again this year because I know how impressive that list was when I was on top, and I'm even looking to outdo it here. And Stardom, I think, is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And Starlight Kid, I hope she's a part of that. I've spoken before. I think my most passionate was when she was like number 2 on my Fave Five list because Utami's just the fucking queen. But Kid, I think has always gotten that in her. She's always had the promise and the potential and the ability. And I really hope that this is the year that she taps more into it. I want her and Azumi to be running this shit. And I think her and Saudi, they're going to make magic together on February 4th. I hope. And yeah, we'll have to see what the future holds for Starlight
Yeah.
Kid. So giving her love there. Who is
And hey,
next on
man,
your list, my
you
friend?
mentioned your
Yeah,
your match of the year is the Wonder Rumble so far, and she won that match.
exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
Number
So
3 for
next for
me.
you.
Oh man, she didn't win the World Rumble, but she was the runner-up. Mina Shirakawa is number 3 for me.
Dude, I'm telling you, one of these days, for one of us, she's gonna be number one, if not both of us. Because I know you adore Hazuki and I adore Utami, but this woman won't be denied. I'm scared for us, man. The more we keep ignoring her like this, I'm like, I feel like we're challenging something.
I
But hey,
mean, consistent top 3 placements isn't ignoring.
no, no. I just wonder how much longer she'll settle for that. But no, you go ahead, man. You've been enjoying Mina this quarter. I'm happy she's got a new faction now, at least with Micah.
I'm
That's
not
exciting.
happy, honestly, that she has a new faction. I might be the only person in our little bubble, in our little community, that's actually really fucking upset that Club Venus is no longer. I loved Club Venus. I feel like the days of Mina, Waka, Mariah, Jesse, and Xena all being together at the same time was some of the best Stardom content that we've had since we started watching it back in 2019. Uh,
Yeah,
and and I still, I guess, was holding out hope that we could potentially get back to something resembling that high point at some point again, with more gaijin coming in, or at the very least, Mina recruiting more Japanese women to join her. I was really hoping that we could get one or both of May and or Hanan in Club Venus. I had like plans for the future for this faction, and it's just dissolved now, and she's in a new faction where she might not even be the leader. And I'm like, I feel like my world is crumbling. So that's why she didn't rank higher, frankly. But I just love her as an individual and as a performer. She has been teaming up with Mei Seira lately, and I think that actually helped Mei's ranking for me a little bit because their team is great. I love their team, and now that Mariah's not around and we can't have, what was their Moon? No, what was their team name again? Mariah and Mina.
Oh God. Oh fuck. God damn it. I can't think of it. I'm blanking.
I'm gonna pull up
Rose
Cage
Gold.
Match.
Rose
Yep, you
Gold.
got it. Yeah.
Rose
But
Gold.
now that we
Fuck
can't have
yeah.
Rose Gold anymore, I don't know if Mina's just going to team up with Micah in the tag league this year. But if Micah has, if maybe if we get Micah teaming with Hanako, and then we can get Mina. I mean, God, I really hope she doesn't team with Waka. Fuck. Maybe we can get Mina teaming up with May, and we can get that team in the tag league. I would love that because I really like their team together. They're awesome. Um, but yeah, Mina, man, she's just been on fire. Her performance in that World Rumble was incredible. Man, I want so much more for her, and it feels like the people who call the shots just want to keep dangling the carrot in front of us, and in front of her without actually letting us get it.
Well, just to dig the knife in a little deeper, my number 2 is Mina Shirakawa.
I kind of had that feeling because you said she wasn't your number one, and so I figured you wouldn't just leave her off your list.
It started to get to this point with me, with me, that
With her, with me,
with her, with
with
me,
me, with her.
with me, with her, absolutely. And it's like, but in all sincerity, it really is getting to that point with me, and this has never really happened before, where I actually feel like I should apologize to the performer because like she's so good. She's so good, and I feel like if she was here and she was like her sense of like self was hinging on like us ranking her at number 1, and she constantly comes up short. She's like, the company I work for already makes me come up short. Now you guys are doing this to me too, and I would just be like, look. I'm a broken man. This is not on you, okay? I am entirely the problem, and I have never been that self-accountable to anyone in my life, but this woman is something special. And like, if I wasn't such a simp for fucking Utami, she would be running away with it because I even you saw like I tweeted Mina a lot now, especially like after a loss or whatever, because again, we know how bad cyberbullying is, especially in the world of Joshi, shockingly. And I tweeted her recently. I wish I could pull up the tweet verbatim, but I don't want to take up too much time unnecessarily. But essentially, I said, you represent some of the most wonderful and beautiful parts of pro wrestling as an industry, and you're emblematic of what every wrestler should aspire to be. You deserve to be world champion. And I mean every fucking word of it. Like when people talk about top guys and they're like, "Oh, he's the first one in the arena and the last one to leave." Mina Shirakawa may not be that literally, but she embodies that spirit to a fucking T to
Yeah,
me with how she works and everything else. Like this woman was like, "I am not just a model. You will look at me as a pro wrestler, and not just as a pro wrestler, but one of the best in the goddamn game, and I'm gonna shove it down your throat." And let me tell you something, people, choking has never been better because goddamn, I was somebody that in TJPW, I straight up said, and I will keep saying it because I should own it because it shows how far her and I both have come, both me and my perception of her and her just in her perception of self and how she's transformed herself. I said straight up, she sucks. I was so unmoved by her. I'm like, oh, so it's pretty obvious why they hired her, right? She's supposed to be one of those cutesy baby faces that because of her looks are sympathetic. And then she gave me the greatest middle finger I have ever received in my life because she turned it around and now I can't imagine Stardom without her. I can't imagine pro wrestling without her. And everybody that comes in and people are like, "Oh, give her time. She came from this background. Give her time. It's been this long." Eat my whole ass.
I knew
That
you were
game
gonna
has
say.
changed. That game has changed. You think I give a shit that, oh, but she was on the varsity cheer squad wrestling Sonu. Cry me a fucking river and then draw it on a map so that I can laugh at it and not give a shit. This woman could have so easily made a life being a model. And she was like, no, actually, I'm going to take bumps and I'm going to deteriorate my body because I want my art. I want my body to be capable of multiple art forms at once. And she's a living, breathing fucking masterpiece. I'm telling you, I do agree with you a bit about Utami. I think just because it is Utami, she hangs on to her spot. But I'm telling you, man, I gotta believe for one of us, she's gonna be number one of these days. I think she was for me once, but it was in a very unique period. I'm talking with Utami like in the company that she'll take that spot because she's, Cody Rhodes could be like, oh, I'm undeniable now. Fuck you. This Mina Shirakawa, she's undeniable, and
By the way, I
regardless of
want you to
whatever
know
fact,
Mina has been number one for both of us prior, like in the past.
you know, and she will be again, and she will be again. I believe that because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, she's one of the best goddamn wrestlers, not just in Stardom. You want to talk about women's wrestling being a draw, making money, all these great talents, and all of that is true. I think when you look at it on a grander scale, she might even be underrated to a degree. You put her against just the whole world of women's wrestling right now, she'd still make my top 10 at the very least.
Yeah.
She is so fucking good.
Yeah. Our
Yeah,
November of 2021 Fave Fives, she was number one on both of our Stardom lists, and then she was number one on your Master list, number four on mine. And then in June of this past year, she was number one on your Stardom Master list, or on
yeah,
your Stardom list, and number one on your overall Master list as well. And then just literally on our literally on our last Fave Five, the one that we did in November, like November 20th, like right after Survivor Series this past year, she was number one for you on both your Stardom list and your Master list. So like
yeah,
she's been getting number one spots from you consistently and even from me occasionally.
yeah.
It's
She'll
just
get there again.
it's
Yeah,
been a lot
it's
longer
yeah.
for me than it has been for you. You literally, for you, two of the last three Fave Fives that we've done, she's been number one for you.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, she's that fucking it's gotten to the point now where when she's not number one, even if she just got that spot, it almost feels criminal. It really does because it's like, what more do you want the woman to do? Like, just everything, everything. God, like it's Kamitani's time, and I feel like there are a lot of people that are worthy to be world champion in 2024. She's near the head of that list, though, to me. I'd love to see her with that red belt just once. And
Yeah,
fuck Tam Nakano, because the only reason I don't want Mina to be red belt champion right now is have PTSD that Tam would just immediately take it off of her. And it pisses me off to no fucking end. But I'm going to stop myself. Who is number one on your favorite? I think we already
I
know,
didn't.
but
I never
for
even
now.
gave number two.
You never even gave number two. That's right, because I went first. That's right. I'm sorry. Who is number two on your list? I do it at least once per Fave 5 commentary. So who's number two on your list?
Hazuki.
Oh my god, she's not number. Oh my god, that makes me
This
a
is the
fucking.
one. This is the stalwart that I mentioned before they got unseated.
I thought, see, and here's the thing. I mind immediately went to Husky and I'm like, oh my god, didn't Mina make his number one too, just because she's been so fucking good? But no, you know what? I know who's number one for you, and it makes perfect sense now. Okay, so just talk about Husky at number two.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Hazuki is still her wonderful self. She's basically unchanged from the last like 7 times that I've been giving her the number one spot. She's just been
yeah,
surpassed.
yeah.
That's
God, your
really all it
delivery
comes
on.
down to. She's incredible. She's stayed incredible. She hasn't gotten any worse. She hasn't fallen off. She's still great. It's just that someone else came around and was like, "Oh yeah, that number one spot, that's cute. Give it to me."
God, you had no malice behind it and you were so pure, but I just can't help but feel like the way your delivery on surpassed was like when a parent sits their child down and was like, listen, your grades have been great. Your brother's just become better than you. I'm sorry. Like, it just fucking hits amazing.
Well, if
Amazing.
Hazuki has a problem with it, she can come and talk to me about it, or forearm me.
Yeah, oh, okay. I'm starting to think this is more than about a Fave 5 list now. But you know what? I dig it. Number one for me, fucking
Is the most
obviously.
obvious thing in the world, and it's both of our most obvious things in the world, honestly.
Yes, because it's Utami, and we already know you're number one, but I won't say it. But I will just say yes, Utami. She's back, loving the goddess's reign. I do agree with you that I'm still waiting for that next year from her. But God, even her like building herself back up, she's so much more entertaining to me than most wrestling I watch today. And I still can't wait for her to be world champion again. Although I will say, man, Mina Shirakawa. Utami, I need them to go at it again, and maybe when they go at it again, it really will be for my number one spot next Fave 5 quarter because it's Stardom's really going to be a competitive field, but Utami's
Didn't
still good
Mina
enough to
beat
stay at the top
Utami in
of
the
the heap.
5-star this past year?
No, Utami beat Mina. I think we
Oh.
were rooting for Mina though at one point because her psychology was so fucking good, like everything else she fucking does. Fuck you, Tam. Just because I know she's gonna fuck her over again. But yeah, Utami, she's fantastic. I love her. She's got such a good spirit. She's amazing in the ring. Such a quick fucking study. I still think about her first world title reign so often, and I think about how wonderful it was. And I just want to see it again. I just want to see her be the world champion again. But I think we know who your number one is, partner. But go ahead and say it for the audience.
It's the Golden Phoenix.
Imagine if you were a douche and you faked us out and you were like, "Oh no, it's Koguma." I was like, "What the
Mayu
fuck?"
Iwatani. Dude, the funny thing is, I could have said one of many people that would have been perfectly valid number ones. I could have said Mayu. I could have said Julia, for fuck's sake. She wasn't on either one of our top 10s. Like,
Yeah, because she can matana my asshole.
it's funny though, because we literally mentioned, like, you literally had Megan Bain in your honorable mention because of a match she had with Julia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Julia is it's like it's legitimately gotten to the point with Julia that she's so fucking good that she's underappreciated all over again.
Dude, I don't give a shit 'cause she's about to get fucking paid.
Hell yeah,
Like,
get that money, girl.
I couldn't hear your negligence on your Fave 5 list over my WrestleMania spot next year in the main event. Fuck.
But no, yeah, my number one spot went to Saya Kamitani. Man, you know how I said about how when Mace Sena is in the ring, it makes you pay attention? I feel like Kamitani is that, even with the volume turned up a little bit, honestly. Because with Kamitani, man, it's one of those things where she really did have that, like, don't know what you got till it's gone factor. Because while she was gone, obviously I missed her. But when she came back, oh my God, it made me realize how much I missed her while she was gone. When she came back, I felt like the lifeblood of Stardom had returned. Like,
Yeah.
it is unbelievable how much of a difference her presence in the product makes for me. I feel more engaged with Stardom when she's a part of it. It's crazy.
Definitely. Definitely. Dude, I mean, let me ask you this, because this is still your time and she was your number one. I know you've been confident that, like, oh, she's beating Mike. I don't know if you've cooled off on that a little bit, but I know originally you were like, it's happening. If it doesn't happen on the fan side, will you say you'll be crushed or you'll just be like, okay, they're just putting it off a little longer and you'll be cool about it? Like, I'm curious what your reaction will be if they don't pull the trigger right away.
I've actually
February 4th,
recently told Galatea, while I hope that she just beats Micah this first try, and that would make me so fucking happy, I would not be surprised if she didn't and they made her work for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which only kind of sucks because she was prepared to work for it by winning the 5-star, and then she got that freak injury and then wasn't able to work for it. So it's like, God damn it. It's like, it literally is a dream deferred because it was gonna be hers, but got put off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks, but she will get there. I mean, look, Kamitani with the world title really is looking like Cody Rhodes with the WWE title, whether you want it or not. And in this case, I do want it a lot, and I know you do. It's inevitable. We just gotta wait it out.
I think Saya Kamitani winning the red belt within the next 15 months is about as inevitable as Julia winning the red belt was. And obviously that happened, even if she had a lackluster reign.
Yes.
So
Yes.
All right. It's one of those things where it's just, I'm not even, it's a good place to be as a fan, to have so much confidence in your fave that you don't even stress out about the possibility of them losing a world title match, because you just know they're winning it at some point anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, with that, we get to our other list, which is pretty much any other wrestling promotion outside of these, main companies. So Sukeban, TNA, TJPW, Noah, just anything. So, and because I've been good and I've been attentive to pro wrestling, doing my fucking job for once, because I'm like, don't be such a grumpus, I actually have a full fucking roster for other, which includes 5 honorable mentions. I can't remember the last time that happened. Like, god damn, I'm usually like, Ashton. no. And you're like, oh, okay. But this time, no, I played ball all
Would
the
you
way,
like to
all
know
9
when the
innings.
last time was that you had a full 5 honorable mentions for other?
When?
I'm still scrolling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Honestly, the
There it is.
delivery of that line was
I found
perfect.
it. It was June 16th of 2022.
Actually, that's more recent than I thought, to be
I
perfectly
mean,
honest
it's
with
a
you.
year and a half ago.
Yeah. You need to simmer down the tone, sir. It's way too perfect, even on things you don't mean it to be. Um, it's like I give myself credit. It's a year and a half ago. I know what numbers are. Fuck. Um, so actually, wait. I think you go first on this. Actually, I was
Because I
thinking
went
about
last
jumping
for
the
the
gun
last
again.
one. You're right.
Yeah. So it's all you, bud.
Yeah, so I will say, I did manage to fit people from 3 different promotions in my Fave 5, but my honorable mention is exclusively Sukebon. Oh, wait. Oh, my
Nice.
God. No, it's not. I do have one other person in here. It's 4 Sukebon, 1 New Japan. Okay, so number 10, Saudi Bomb. Basically, Sarai.
Nice.
Number 9, Commander Nakajima.
Nice.
Number 8, Yuya Uemura.
Nice.
Number 7, Stray Cat.
Cool.
And number 6, Midnight Player.
Nice. All right. Full disclosure to everybody. Yes, I was good. Yes, I have a full roster, but I actually forgot that a Sukeban show would fit this quarter, mainly because a lot of things happen in my life and I only have so much bandwidth.
Yeah,
So
so for full disclosure for everyone, our last Fave 5 was November 28th, and there was a Sukebon show December 7th. So
yeah.
it was
So
a
I
long time
completely blanked
ago
on that.
and very, very quickly after our last Fave 5. So it's easy to forget.
So my honorable mentions and my favorite five list is exclusively, and I can't believe I'm saying these words, TNA wrestling.
You didn't put
Something else
anyone
I
on
never
New
thought would happen.
Japan in there?
No, no
Or
New Japan on there.
TJPW or anything at all? Just TNA.
Or no TJPW because the next big time for TJPW to probably get mentioned will be for fucking the world title match with Miyu Watanabe. And yeah, I can't fucking wait for that shit. So yeah, honorable mentions for me: number 10, Moose; number 9, Giselle Shaw; number 8, Kevin Knight. Just want to say I really like Kevin Knight.
He's
I want to see a
great.
lot more of him
Yeah.
still. Yeah. Number 7, Dirty Dango. Go back and watch January 25th episode of TNA, guys, because it was so much better than January 18th episode. And Dirty Dango was on it, and I love the gimmick, the little bit that I saw of it. That warranted an honorable mention enough. And number 6, Mike Bailey. Really happy for him that he's back in the US. He's great. So, who begins your Fave 5 list, my friend?
That would be Queen of Hearts.
Oh, nice,
AKA
nice.
Miyuki Takase. I should probably go back and just make sure that everyone knows who the fuck I'm talking about in my honorable mentions, just in case you don't watch Sukebon. So I already mentioned Sari Bomb is just Saray from WWE. She is signed with Sukebon, like an official exclusive contract with them, and it was like a big deal that they got them instead of AEW or WWE being able to get their back. Commander Nakajima, who was number 9, is Arisa Nakajima. She's a pretty well-known Joshi. Maybe not a legend, but close to it. Everyone knows Yuya Uemura from New Japan. Stray Cat is Tomoka Inaba from JTO. She also works Stardom and other promotions. And then Midnight Player is Aoi, also from JTO and other promotions. Queen of Hearts, number 5, is Miyuki Takase. She is, I think, from Marvelous, maybe Oz Academy. I have to look it up even. She's great though. I fucking love her. She honestly, she's a revelation for me. I obviously didn't give her my revelation of the year 2023, but that's just because Mariah May existed and I didn't feel the need to try past that. But Miyuki Takase should have probably been an honorable mention for me in that because I think that was when we first saw her in Stardom. She is really, really good, man. I really, really like her. She's Sendai. She's a Sendai Girls and Pro Wrestling Waves wrestler for the most part. She also works Diana. So she's just kind of a freelancer in general. But yeah, she is awesome. I love her style. I love her attitude. I love her in ring work. I love the Queen of Hearts gimmick even for Sukebon, and she's part of my favorite faction in Sukebon, so it makes it that much better. So yeah, she's just great.
Yeah, dude. I'm glad you clarified because I would hate to have somebody do you the insult of being like Queen of Hearts, so you're an Italia fan, and then just that would be
Ew.
exactly, exactly. All right, number 5 for me, Motor City Machine Guns. Loved them as a kid, love them now. I really only got to see them as a tag team on the January 25th episode of Impact, teaming with fucking Okada. But they look great, man, even at this stage of their careers. And yeah, just Saban and Shelley both solid acts. So
So,
who is next
John,
on your list?
given that the Motor City Machine Guns rank higher for you than Moose, do you therefore agree with Super Blue that Chris Sabin should have allowed Kushida to submit him in order for Alex Shelley to retain the Impact World Championship?
Um, give that a second. Hold on. No,
Did you turn off Chris for that?
I did.
Love that.
I did.
Amazing.
Yeah, Super Blue. The less I say about his takes, the better. Who's next on your other list?
Lady Antoinette, aka Risa Serra, another really amazing performer and another member of the Dangerous Liaisons. Man, I'm telling you, this is my favorite faction in Sukeban by far. One of my favorite factions in all of wrestling right now, actually, because I didn't put her in my other list because I already had Saudi Ano in my Stardom list, in my number 6 on my honorable mentions. But Lady or Countess Saudi is also a member of the Dangerous Liaisons, and she's great in that. I think Konami is in that faction too. Like, it's just stacked, man. It's just a stacked fucking faction. So yeah, Lady Antoinette is great. Risa Serra, I believe, had a singles match on the last Sukeban show, and it was really, really good. She was great in it. And you know what? I want to actually look. Sukeban Miami. Who did she face? Supersonic. Yeah. So it was Natsuki Tayo that she faced, and it was a solid match. All things considered, because Natsuki Tayo is like almost 40 years old. So these Joshis only go for so long before they retire. A lot of Joshis retire in their late 20s, early 30s. Natsuki Tayo's still going in her late 30s. She's a fucking warrior, man.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, no, Lady Antoinette is awesome. I love Risa Serra. I'd love to see her more in Stardom, but I feel like we haven't seen her in quite a while now.
Yeah, I know. I know it's been too long. Number 4 for me, Chris Bay. I don't understand why this dude hasn't been given a main event push yet. He's still so good in ring and I love his fucking look. But he hasn't. He had a really solid match with Kevin Knight on the latest episode of Impact that I've seen, again, the January 25th show. Um and he won that match. He is tag team champions right now, and that's fine. Oh, Wookie just meowed. Are you all right? I think she's all right. She's so fucking cute. But yeah, Chris Bay deserves to be a main event guy in my mind. Could be Impact World Champion. I would buy that shit fucking easily. They just feel like they've been kind of middling with him for way too long now. But I just wanted to show him some love. Chris Bay is awesome. So who's next on your list?
Well, in other, I can't believe they haven't held a championship yet news. My number 3 is another Impact Wrestling performer, Giselle Shaw.
Nice. I know she was in my honorable mentions. I'm glad that you actually put her on your list. That's really
Dude,
cool.
can you believe she's never held the Impact Knockouts Championship?
I think she will though, because after winning Ultimate X, I
Do you
could
think
see them
she's going to
going
be
all
the
the
one
way
to
with
beat
her.
Jordan for the title?
Possibly. It
Dude,
depends on
that
when she
match is going
cashed
to
in the
fucking
touchdown.
slap. I know that. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for that one, bro. Because they laid. Did you I don't never want to
I
presume
haven't
anything with
watched
you.
any TNA, no.
You haven't watched any TNA? Her and the Shawn Entourage or whatever she calls them, they laid out Jordan on the 25th after she beat Trinity in a match that could have been a match of the year contender, but the finish was way too abrupt for me.
Ah.
They laid Jordan out afterwards, and yeah, Giselle she looks like she's ready for that spot. She really does.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you gave her even more love than I did, because I'm still
Well,
relatively new to her,
I think
which
the
is
main
why I was
reason
going
that I
for
was
it.
able to give her this credit is because I actually saw her in that Ultimate X match.
Right, that makes sense because I haven't gone back and watched Hard to Kill.
Yeah.
So
I watched Hard
yeah,
to Kill live with a few people in our Discord, actually.
nice,
It was
nice.
I think it was a Saturday night, so I was like flipping back and forth between Hard to Kill and Collision. And there was an ROH. I think there was something else going on that night too. It might have been, I don't remember honestly, but yeah, there was a lot going on that night. Oh, it was a New Japan Strong show. That was the night that Julia had the New Japan Strong Women's the New Japan Strong Women's Championship match. I don't remember who that was against though. I think was it Trisha? No, it wasn't Trisha Dora. I don't remember. Regardless, it was there were 3 shows going on one night, and Hard to Kill was one of them. So I was kind of flipping back and forth to that.
Right, right. All right. Number 3 for me. It's funny that we're speaking about knockouts. Jordan Grace, still a fucking beast. Loved her appearance in the Rumble. Again, the rematch with Trinity was okay. I feel like it was just about to hit another gear when it just ended.
Damn.
Maybe they didn't want to give Trinity like a big matchup given that she's leaving,
Right.
but like it would have been nice. It just would have been nice. I feel like they were really about to make something special. I have not seen their hard to kill match, so maybe they already did that with their hard to kill match. I don't know. But yeah, Jordan Grace, still a beast, still amazing. And looking forward to that match with Giselle Shaw, as we've been talking about. Should be really good. So who's next on your list?
Number 3 or no, number 2 on my other list is Yota Tsuji.
Nice. I love that dude. That's a great pick. He's such a stud.
He is such a star, man. Like before they went on their excursions, I actually liked Uemura more than Tsuji. And here you can see Uemura is theoretically at number 8, whereas Tsuji is straight up at number 2. He has progressed so quickly. He is such a stud. And Uemura, it feels like Uemura is almost trying too hard to take it slow, whereas
Yeah.
Tsuji took everyone's advice and learned all the moves that he could while he was gone and just came back with this huge arsenal. It's like, holy shit, dude, you are stacked right now. And so yeah, Tsuji also had a more impressive performance against Uemura in their Wrestle Kingdom match that I did watch. I thought Tsuji really stood out more. I think they were both good, but Uemura came off to me more like an unfinished product. Like Uemura came off to me like, wow, this guy can be really good eventually, whereas Tsuji just came off like, this guy's a fucking star.
Yeah, dude, he's so good. I love that you showed him love. Now that we've kind of relegated New Japan into the other cluster since we've been so
Yeah.
disconnected. I only didn't do that because it would have been disingenuous on my part because I really haven't been keeping up with New Japan at all.
Yeah, and
Uh,
really that's the only match that I've seen, like full match of New Japan beginning to end, and that's all I needed. So
yeah, yeah. Hey, dude, that's fine. You know that I've had people on lists in the past, and it was only because of one match, and I was so blown away by one match. I'm like, you know what? Yes. So no judgment there.
yeah.
Number 2 for me, Trinity. I know she was in the Rumble. I know we should look at her as a WWE woman, but she was in TNA for this quarter.
Yeah.
So I think I can
No, I
use
absolutely
the other.
agree with this decision, man, for sure.
Yeah. She's fantastic. I love her. Um, Again, I think another role model just as a person and in the ring. I mean, she can go. I'm actually grateful. This is one time where I will say that I'm grateful somebody went to TNA, which I used to say that before when they were a good company, but now, like, since I call it the trailer park era, I'm still grateful that she gave herself this run because I think it allowed her to broaden her moveset to really show what she can do. And again, her and Jordan Grace, they were cooking, and then the match just ended. But I can tell that Trinity still has a lot to give. If she wins the women's title again in this WWE run, I don't think it'd be a mistake. I think, I'd be perfectly fine with that. So who's next on your list?
That would be Maya Mamushi,
Nice.
aka Maya Yuki.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, she's so good. I want to see more of her. I've been missing her, like as kind of Maya Yukihi, because her presence, man, and her magnetism. But this is your like number. Well, actually, is this your number 1 or your number 2? Remind me
This
again.
is
I'm just
my
kind of
number 1. Tsuji
okay.
was my
Yeah, that
number
makes
2.
sense.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Maya
right.
is my
That's right.
number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
is fucking phenomenal, man. She is so goddamn good. She has been in 2 Sukeban matches so far, and they've both been tag matches. And the first one, she was teaming with someone who's very green in babyface, aka Anchamu. But then the second one, she teamed with Saki Bimi, who is like all cap Saki that we know in Stardom from Colors, right? We know her, we've seen her before. And yet, and even despite the fact that we know her and she's like the leader of Colors and she's experienced and shit, both of these matches to me felt like Maya was carrying her partner to a decent match. both of them.
Yes. Yeah, that's crazy.
Maya has gotten so over with the crowd, and it's like, well, yeah, no shit, because look at her and like watch her work. Like she's so good. And I honestly feel like if Sukeban ever gets cold feet with the Ichigo Sayaka face of the company idea, Maya's right there to take over that role. And it would be a huge upgrade in my mind, but like even from like a more objective like box office standpoint, you would not skip a beat.
No, no, not at all.
She is so incredible, and she's got the look, and she's got the skills, and she's got that ability to connect with the crowd, unlike just about anyone that I've ever seen in Joshi. Like her ability to connect with the crowd might just be second to none. She is so good at that.
She really is, man. I need to see more of her just as Maya Yukihi because it's just so above
She's
so
so
many women like today.
natural, man.
She is. That's what's scary, man. Like it's just she's so naturally good at this.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Number one for me, and probably the only entry on this other list that I could talk at some length about, grizzled young veterans. God, am I
Woo-wee!
happy for these fucking guys. Oh my god. To go from complete fucking jokes in schism to getting back to the basics to being grizzled young vets. Dude, I will say TNA is lucky as fuck that they snagged these guys
Yeah.
because I would have
So
loved to
are
have seen these
we.
guys. Say that again.
I said so are we, because the
Yeah,
alternative was AE fucking W.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like they would have been worse there. So I'll give TNA credit. They know what they have here. And GYV is such a great fucking tag team. I wish that they would have been around for the golden era of TNA's tag division when you had Beer Money and the Machine Guns and fucking hell. I even liked whoever he fucking teamed with for that fucking band group with Christy Hemme. I
The
thought they were
Rock
an
and
underrated
Rave
tag team.
connection, Jimmy Rave.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yes. Oh my God. See your memory in this case. LAX, Styles, and Daniels. Like, yeah. Fucking. This was a little bit after America's Most Wanted, but even so, like TNA's had some golden periods in tag team
Fortune.
wrestling. Yeah, they may be getting ready to get back to that again. And who better to lead it than fucking Grizzled Young Vets? These guys are so good. I missed being a fucking simp for Zach Gibson and when they lose, being like, nice going, Drake, and just emphasizing the name unnecessarily because I'm me. Are you okay? Live.
I'm good, man. Continue.
Okay. Just want to make sure that you were okay. But yeah, no, they are utterly fucking fantastic. I am so happy to see them back to being who they are. And again, TNA could get twice the value because I don't know so much about Drake. We've never really known much about Drake as a singles competitor. We know about Zach Gibson as a singles competitor, and I think he could bring a lot of value to TNA too in the future. But for now, I'd be cool if in their whole TNA tenure they were just grizzled young vets as a tag team. These guys are fucking awesome. The grit your teeth tag team finish is probably my favorite tag team finish going. It's pretty much a code breaker, but with two people each contributing a single knee. It's amazing. Chris Bay sold it like a beast. And in fact, beginning this week on TNA, see where we are, TNA. I used to hate you, and now I kind of tolerate you, maybe even like you sometimes, depending on who you feature. I'm going to promote something that I'm actually excited about. They're doing a best of 3 series GYV against Bay and Ace Austin, TNA Tag Team Champions. So yeah, best of 3 series. I'm rooting for GYV in that mainly because Chris Bay deserves something better to fucking do anyway. And yeah, these guys are why I love tag team wrestling. And unlike the revival, the bloom isn't off the rose. In fact, the rose has shown it can bloom twice. So good for grizzled young veterans. I'm gritting my teeth in anticipation of them being your next TNA Tag Team Champions. So that rounds out my other list, which means we get to our master list of the top 10. My friend, do you want to say who was number 10 on your list first to get us started?
Absolutely. Number 10 on my list is Daddy Christian Cage.
Oh, oh. Number 10 for me, Starlight Kid.
That is beautiful. I love that for you. Number 9 for me, Rhea Ripley. Mommy,
9 for me.
Rhea Ripley.
Yes. Yes. 9 for me is Trick Williams.
Nice. That's awesome. I will say he did not make my my top 10 list.
That's
Number
fine.
8 for me, Mina Shirakawa.
Damn. Okay. 8 for me, Christian Cage.
Damn. Okay. Well, you already know he was number 10 for me. Number 8 for me, or oh wait, I already said number 8. Number 7 for me includes Mama, the Metaphor.
Number 7 for me. Can you deep breathe for me?
Santos Escobar.
Oxygen has literally never been sexier. Yes, Santos Escobar is number 7. All right, you next.
Number 6 for me, Maya Mamushi. That high.
Wow. Number 6 for me, Gonta.
Nice, nice. Number 5 for me, Domination. Obafemi.
Oh, dude, we have the same number 5. Yes.
That's incredible.
It was number 4 for you.
Hazuki.
All right, I was even going to say before number 5 because I didn't think we'd share the same number 5. I mean, this is where you really get into these people make us watch pro wrestling every goddamn week. Number 4 for me, Braun Breaker. Fucking love him.
And now for me, I mean, yeah, we are in it at this point. These are like you could just show me their segments every week, and I wouldn't have to watch anything else, and I'd be soaked. Number 3 for me, Mogul Embassy.
Number 3 for me, Kevin fucking Owens.
Number 2, X.
Ooh. Nice. Number 2 for me, Mina Shirakawa.
Beautiful. And of course, we all know who your number 1 is now. Number 1 for me, Damage Control.
Yes! Oh, dude. Oh, Pamela. Friday is really going to be something. One for me, of course, the Red Queen, my queen, the one that makes the red belt relevant, Utami.
Oh, hey, yeah, it's a leap year this year.
Yeah, it is.
What the poop?
All right. Well, that was a rousing affair. That was the 27th, you said, right, installment of Five Fave Five.
Dude, I know, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing. We are so old, but this podcast is still older. So, oh wow, Hazardous comes in right at the very end. Hi, everybody. Hi, Hazardous. Goodbye, Hazardous.
Hi there, everybody. The Butters voice.
I ship him and Maki Ito officially. So yes.
Have some SpaghettiOs.
Oh, you. All right. Oh god, now you're making me hungry. I'm gonna have some grits after this. But anyway. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Leave a like as you follow out, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And yeah, guys, join us in the Discord tonight. I'll be in the live wrestling discussion. Hopefully for the whole show, I might be a tad late because again, I'll be making food after this for NXT. And you're definitely going to want to join us for that because we're actually reacting, courtesy of Super Blue and his Patreon request, to TakeOver Vengeance Day this Sunday, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which I guess means, Ashton, for weekend review this Saturday, we wanted to talk about NXT because it's kind of like a go-home show and we're reacting to the pay-per-view.
Maybe we'll sneak in a preview predictions for Vengeance Day since we're going to be live reacting to it anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll do that works for Vengeance Day during our weekend review, kind of thing, you know.
I think that's a perfect compromise. So yeah, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place. So again, people, to make it more coherent just for everybody, tonight, just join us in the Discord. We'll be popping off with NXT. Wednesday, same thing probably for AEW. Thursday is when we actually get back to content for Stardom recap. Should be interesting. I'm curious, how many matches we'll react to because I know one show got up and I saw at least one match. I'm like, ooh, that should be good. I don't know about anything else. Friday, again, it's just a Discord converging for Smackdown. Hopefully headlined by Bayley's announcement. I hope Damage Control main events that episode. They should.
I hope so too. Also, you mentioned Stardom. I cannot wait for this week's Stardom, bro.
Yeah, Stardom just always injected into my veins, always, forever. And then Saturday,
are we getting Mina versus Micah for the right to lead their new faction and maybe even name their new faction this week?
I don't know.
I hope
because I know that one show is up and there is a tag match with that new faction on it. but no Mina Micah singles match as of yet. But
Well,
is that
yeah.
actually happening, or is that just conjecture on your
I've
end?
heard that it's happening, that we're going to get a one-on-one match between the two of them to determine the leader, at the very least the leader, and then I'm hoping that the leader will then get to name it. I don't know.
Man, Stardom just really loves stabbing me with an icicle, about me, Shirakawa. Always brushing the big wigs and just always coming up short because you just know Micah's winning that. She's the fucking world champion. So, but I'm still looking forward to it regardless, whenever that happens, if it's happening. And then Saturday usual time. Yeah, just in review, that'll be 10:30. And then again, Sunday at 8, courtesy of Super Blue, we will be doing Takeover Vengeance Day live reactions, headlined probably by Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov after he already competed once before, thanks to fake friend ass Carmelo Hayes. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun TwitWoW week. Hope you all join us for that. We'll see Discord members for NXT in just a little bit. And yeah, until then, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.